Test. Alrighty. Welcome everybody to our latest live stream. Hope you guys are all having a good evening. Welcome. For those that are just joining us and are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. As really I mention all the time, but make sure to hit that like button if you're just joining us. Again, we're gonna be going over the severe weather tonight and what's ongoing right now. We have at least 7 severe thunderstorm warnings right now, so there's actually a lot right now on the map that we're gonna get to, all the way from the Texas Panhandle all the way into Oklahoma, and there's actually one now in Kansas. So we're watching several storms very closely. We're gonna go storm by storm, kind of give you an idea of what's happening on that radar right now, what to expect for the rest of this evening, who's included in that severe thunderstorm watch, the timing, everything's gonna be included in this forecast. So again, just make sure to stay tuned. We'll be kind of keep you updated here throughout the evening. Let's get right into the storms. As of right now, we have mostly severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings as of yet. That may change soon. There's a lot of storms rotating, but none of them are rotating yet at the lower levels. But as of right now, we have a storm right now going through Memphis and just to the east of Lakeview. This is currently moving off to the northeast pretty slowly. All these storms are moving fairly slowly. Really, most of them are only going about 25, 30 miles per hour. For the most part, though, I've seen a lot of these storms just moving about 15. So they're all kind of varying speeds right now, but most of them are moving right around 15 to 20 miles per hour. A few of them are moving a little bit faster, but our main severe thunderstorm warning as of right now is near Memphis, and that is currently producing the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and as well as the potential for some ping pong ball sized hail. So we have a couple of little storms here right now that are all near Memphis. There's also a storm ongoing right now near Wellington. This is also moving off to the northeast. There was a report about an hour ago of hail the size of hen eggs. That was reported via social media. So that also occurred just to the north of Wellington, right along Route 83. So that also occurred there. This storm is also producing for the next 8 minutes or so, potentially damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and as well as $half sized hail. That storm's also moving off to the northeast. We have another storm that's just off to the east of that, which is on the basically the Texas and Oklahoma border. This is just south of Eric, and this is moving off to the, I believe that's moving off to the northeast. It looks like it's going the opposite direction, but it is going off to the northeast. This is producing quarter-sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. This storm's only moving about 15 miles per hour to the northeast right now, and it's not really going through any populated regions, but it's going to be going through 30 here in just a moment for those that are there. Our main supercell storms right now are actually in western Oklahoma. This is producing potentially baseball-sized hail. We've already had a report of quarter-sized hail about 10 minutes ago or so. That wasn't really associated with the main portion of the storm. Main portion of the storm is basically north of Elk City and just to the east of Butler. Those two areas seeing the largest hailstones as of right now. Those black shaded regions that are going to represent potentially some very large hailstones. Baseball sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour will be possible with this storm. This area is all moving off to the northeast. That will continue to move off to the east northeast and likely produce some pretty hefty large hail. A bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing in southern Kansas and as well as northern portions of Oklahoma. So we'll get to those as well. Let's go and take a look at the one that's near Medford as of right now. This storm is currently moving off to the northeast. It's producing potentially damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, as well as some $half sized hail. That is also moving off to the about east northeast or so. Another storm back off to the north of that. This is actually going to be, we have a couple of storms. We got one right here and one off to the north near Udale, and as well as one, northwest of Arkansas City. That is also producing the potential for damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail. This is basically a cluster of storms at this point. We got one cell right down here that is just west of Arkansas City. We got one near Douglas right now. And we also got a cell right here south of Derby. So we got 3 different storms that are kind of associated with this little cluster. All of them have the same potential, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and as well as the potential for some ping pong ball sized hail. And that also includes areas like Augusta, El Dorado, and as well as just east of Wichita, anywhere right along there of Interstate 35. Those areas are all included in that potential. There's already been a couple of hail reports here. We had one reported by a trained weather spotter in Wellington of quarter-sized hail, and just south, of Belle Plaine, there was also quarter-sized hail reported there at 4:57. So we had a couple within the last 20 minutes or so. That was in Sumner County, Kansas. So that was the area where we saw some quarter-sized hail reported by a trained weather spotter. And yeah, it's as of right now we're looking at, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. Let's get to that one. That's for the potential for baseball-sized hail. Let's go back up here to the north. This is near Weatherford. So this is just in the northwest of Weatherford near Custer City and going toward Thomas. This includes the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and baseball-sized hail. This is another storm that has a pretty hefty threat as of right now. It is considered a considerable threat. It's pretty close to tennis ball-sized hail at this point, but as of right now, potentially producing baseball-sized hail. This is including areas like Weatherford, Thomas, Custer City, Butler, and as well as Fay. Those areas are all included in that new severe thunderstorm warning. That is all just north of Interstate 40 as of right now. So this is a storm to watch very closely. And I would imagine that this cell down to the southwest of that will also probably get a new warning for the same threats as well. So 2 storms that we're watching very closely as of right now. Now, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this forecast, a lot of these storms are rotating. So we have been seeing a lot of broad rotation at this point. Let's go and take a look at the velocities as of right now. This storm has been producing as well as very strong damaging winds. That's where your damaging wind sector is as of right now, which is just off to the southwest of Custer City. City, basically just west of Route 183 right now. That is where the highest damaging winds have been at this point. This has had some broad rotation at sometimes. As of right now, it's not really rotating. There's a storm down to the southwest of that, though, that is just to the east of Elk City, and this storm is producing potentially a little bit broad rotation as of right now, so that storm could obviously develop. There's a very low-end tornado threat tonight, but it definitely does exist if we can get a cell to be discrete enough. And this one, for example, I mean, if you kind of look at the radar here, it is definitely a little bit more discrete. There's not a whole lot below it. This storm could definitely rotate, but as of right now, the hook is not really there. It's a very messy hook at this point, so we could maybe see some rotation in this storm, maybe some inflow and whatnot, but as of right now, this storm is trying to rotate, but it's not necessarily rotating as of right now, at least into the terms of potentially producing a tornado within like the next 5-10 minutes. So but definitely a storm to watch, though. And again, we have our 3 severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing, 2 of them right now down here in the Texas Panhandle near Wellington and Memphis. Those areas potentially some damaging wind gusts, again up to 70 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail. Here's a reference for the severe thunderstorm watch for tonight. It includes a pretty large area. It includes very far southern portions of Kansas, and that might be extended a bit further up to the northeast in a future severe thunderstorm watch, so keep that in mind for those in southeastern Kansas. It's also going through northern and western Oklahoma, and it also goes into the Panhandle of Texas, and it also does include very, very far northwestern portion of our coverage area, North Texas at least. It does include Vernon as well, so that area is also included in that watch, and it goes until 10 p.m. tonight, so another 5 hours. The main threats tonight going to be up to tennis ball sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour. Again, a tornado or 2 cannot be ruled out tonight, and those will be really our main threats for tonight. Again, damaging winds and maybe some large hail. And again, if you have any questions at any point during this live stream, definitely make sure to leave them in chat. Again, we'll be live, I think, for a good amount of time here. I'm not going to go, off air all of a sudden, but I'll probably be live for at least an hour or 2. We'll see how long we go. Again, if there's any tornado warnings after I get off at some point later, I will try to go live if I can. But as of right now, this live stream should hopefully be around 2 to 3 hours. That's kind of my forecasted time at this point. Also, a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. Let's go back to the Wichita radar real quick, and I'll get to questions in just a second. But also, there is a new severe thunderstorm warning for those that are in Brahman, and as well as Blackwell Lake, and as well as Renfro. Those areas are now included in a new severe thunderstorm warning for those that are in far northern Oklahoma, basically right along and just west of Interstate 35. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, as well as some quarter-sized hail possible there. And also just south of Manchester, there's also a new severe thunderstorm warning for that storm as well that was just issued a minute ago. This storm is producing the potential for damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and as well as the potential for quarter-sized hail. And that is also another storm to be watching very closely. That's moving off to the northeast as of right now. And again, we have several severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing in Kansas. We have now a ping pong ball sized hail report as of 6 minutes ago. That is in Cowley, Kansas County. So Cowley County, excuse me, in Kansas. That is now a new report. That was about 6 minutes ago. So that's a new report on ping pong ball sized hail. That's why that warning is currently ping pong ball sized hail. And we just got another new severe thunderstorm warning over in Oklahoma. Let's go and go to that radar. And this is just east of Elk City, and this is again the same threats. Baseball-sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour will be possible with this storm. This is near Foss and just to the northeast of Elk City, and Elk City is included in this warning. Let me go down to actually the Wichita Fall, or basically Frederick radar. Let's go to this one. This is going to give you a better view at it, and you can see the 2 main storms as of right now. Both of them producing the same threats: damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and baseball-sized hail. Let me go take a look at the velocities real quick. As of right now, again, some broad rotation with this storm near Elk City. We'll be watching that very closely for you, and as of right now, you can kind of see the radar as of right now. So yeah, definitely a lot of heavy rain with this, and also some large hail. This is a look at the estimated hailstone sizes. Let's see if this is pretty accurate. It looks like it is. So this is the estimated hail size as of right now by radar. It says about hen egg size, maybe just a little bit over hen egg sized hail at the peak. And also with this storm that is just west of Custer City, this is producing, it looks like pretty much baseball sized hail, 2.3 inches in diameter, very close to baseball sized hail there. So there's definitely some very large hail with that storm as well. And that is as right now we're looking at. Again, these are the 2 storms in Oklahoma as of right now. Let's get to some questions. If anybody has any questions at any point, you can leave them in chat. And I'll go and kind of go through them. Let's see. Wichita Falls might see some storms later tonight. I don't think you'll see anything severe, though. At this point, I think your severe weather threats at this point tonight will be pretty low. By the way, does my mic sound a little bit better? I'm using a new mic shield thing. I don't know if it sounds worse or better, or if it sounds any different to you. But I used it in my last forecast last night, and I'm now using it in my live stream. I'm not sure if it's any better. It's pretty big. It's like a huge shield. Actually, it goes up to basically this level right here, if you can see, but you probably can't see it on camera, but it is very large. I have some new mic quality stuff going on. All right. And again, if you're new here, if you're just tuning in, make sure to like the live stream. It does help my page out a lot. I do appreciate liking the live stream. And again, we're gonna be live for a while, so no need to. You have to go at any point. You can always go. Sorry, 1 second. Right, there we go. Oh, you know, you're good, Quentin. No problem. Yeah, just spamming in my chat in general is kind of a no-no. Yeah, there's a lot of storms that happen in, you know, Oklahoma. I mean, all across the Southern Plains. It's very typical. So, yeah, it's definitely a pretty typical thing that happens. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, for the Panhandle of Texas. This is a very large severe thunderstorm warning. This is like 2 counties. This is at least 2.5 counties. But there's a new severe thunderstorm warning for those in Wellington. This also includes Shamrock, Headley, Dodson, Ludi, Leah Lake, Dozier, Leela, a lot of these I can't pronounce, but as well as Quail. Those areas are now included in a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for the potential for damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, but the main threat is going to be hen egg sized hail. So that's our new warning now, and that includes, again, basically the main area in this warning is going to be Shamrock and as well as Wellington, and as well as Dodson, Headley. Those areas all included in this severe thunderstorm warning. That is a very large severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. So this is, again, a new severe thunderstorm warning for those in the eastern portions of the Panhandle of Texas. This goes until 6:30 tonight. So definitely make sure you're keeping that in mind. There is also a very destructive severe thunderstorm warning now issued for Lakeview and as well as Memphis. This has the potential for up to tennis ball sized hail. That is basically our maximum hailstone size, if you will, for today. But this is a new warning. This is now a destructive supercell right now near Memphis, basically around Route 287 and 256. We've had a report at 5:04 p.m. of baseball sized hail, which average hailstone sizes were 2 inches in diameter, but a few were up to baseball size. That says the report in Hall County, Texas at 5:04 p.m. So about 13 minutes ago, that was our new report. Again, this is a destructive severe thunderstorm warning for Memphis and Lakeview. Those are the 2 cities, towns, whatever you want to call them, in eastern Panhandle of Texas. That also does include the, that's basically, yeah, that's all in north, or in the Panhandle of Texas. So again, that is a very destructive cell as of right now. Let's go to the hail radar here. Take a look at how large these hailstone sizes are with this storm. This will kind of give you an idea, estimated by radar, of how large these hailstones are. Loading up. There we go. So the radar is actually estimating only about 1.9 to 2 inches in diameter. But again, the report was, even what the radar is estimating as of right now, even where that report was baseball sized hail, is only half of that. So there's a potential that the radar's off. Sometimes the radar is off with how it estimates hailstone size. Just an estimate. It can sometimes be under, it can sometimes be over. It's usually pretty reliable. But in this situation, we had a hail report of baseball size 5 miles east of Memphis. And again, that is not even where the main hail core is. The main hail core is right here. So we could definitely easily see baseball or even tennis ball sized hail with the blacker colors there. You can see the much darker colors as well as the pinks. Those are representing very large hailstones. Again, that's going toward Memphis. So again, make sure you're taking your car into your garage tonight, cover things over, whatever you got to do to stay safe tonight, because these are going to be very dangerous storms, as you can see. Again, this is going north toward Memphis as of right now. It's going to be going toward 256. Let's see if there's any new warnings. There's a bunch of warnings on the map as of right now. That's it for right now. So no new warnings within the last 2 minutes. We've seen about 6 or 7 new warnings since we got on live. So definitely a lot of warnings ongoing right now. All right, let's see. What causes Texas and the surrounding areas to have so much severe weather? It's just the setup. A lot of the time, we have a lot more of a setup. We always have troughs dipping down during, like, you know, the springtime, for example. We have a lot more of the jet stream dipping down with the troughs, and they sometimes become negatively tilted. And honestly, the Southern Plains isn't the only state, or not state, excuse me, the only region that sees severe weather. Obviously, the Mississippi Valley and areas like Ohio Valley, they see severe weather too. It's actually the Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia region. They see more severe weather on average now, or at least a tornado wise, than we do, which is actually factual over the last like 50 years or so. So there is actually a lot more severe weather that occurs in those regions nowadays in terms of tornadoes. But we still see a lot of severe weather even here. But yeah, it also has to do with the weather pattern. Obviously, we have the Gulf of Mexico moisture this time of the year. I mean, even in North Texas, for example, the dew points are like 70, but we're not seeing any severe weather, and that's mainly because of there's no cold front or anything like that to really help us see any storms or anything like that. So, hey, Christopher, how you doing? Welcome. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, you're right. You're to inform your friend that lives in Oklahoma. Awesome. Yeah, if you have anybody that you know in these regions, definitely make sure they're aware of this, the severe weather, obviously, tonight. We'll eventually see these storms collapse, probably closer to Oklahoma City and Wichita Falls, kind of the areas that are now just barely outside the watch. This area here will likely be where those storms kind of collapse or even just fizzle out. I'll have a bit more of a future timing guide here in a few minutes, but that's what we're looking at as of right now. Good to hear, Christopher. Good to hear. All right, let's go back through the warnings. I know some of you guys are just joining us for the first time tonight. We're going to go north to south this time because these storms are the ones that are a bit more in progress right now. But again, for those that are in southern Kansas, there's basically three storms ongoing right now. All of them are in the same warning for ping pong ball sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. All three storms are just east of Interstate 35 near Douglas, Atlanta, Burden, and as well as Winfield, and as well just to the northwest of Arkansas City. Those areas all included, and the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and as well as potential for some ping pong ball sized hail. We have three other cells down to the southwest. Two of them are the main ones that are warned. We have a quarter-sized hailstorm, as well as the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour near Brahman and Renfro, as well as going toward Blackwell Lake. Those areas are included for that potential there. There's also another warning just to the west of that near Manchester, just south of Manchester. This potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and also some quarter-sized hail. That's another storm to be watching pretty closely. And I don't know if the sound effect went off. I think it did. But thank you, Jay Long, by the way, for becoming a Sunny subscriber. I appreciate it. Welcome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And also, there's another storm just to the south of that near Jet and just to the west of Nash. That is strong. That'll likely become severe warning pretty soon. That's been in the development for a while. So another storm up that way. We also have multiple other storms that have had some rotation at some times. Again, the tornado threat is going to be probably it's not going to be high by any means. It's going to be very low today. But if there is a tornado threat, it will likely be in western Oklahoma or the eastern portions of the Panhandle. So those are the areas that we're watching for tonight. No, Quinn. This is that's in Kansas. The one that I'm referring to. All right, so there's a baseball-sized hailstorm and as well as damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour for Custer City and Thomas. This has the potential for, again, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and baseball-sized hail. There you can see the baseball-sized hail will be right about there where I just circled it. So basically just west of Route 183 and just to the north of 33. That is where your large hailstones are currently potentially falling, just west of Custer City. So that's going off to the east right now, and that's definitely going to be a storm to watch. Let me put a time track on this storm for you because this one's probably going to be going toward a little bit more of a populated region. And let me get a little track on here. I'm going to kind of go ahead and highlight where the hail storm is at this point. I'm actually going to go ahead and do the whole thing here. So let's go and do about 29 miles per hour or so. This is kind of an estimate at this point. So Custer City right around within the next 5 minutes or so. Clinton right around 5:31. Thomas will be 5:40. Eventually it'll be Weatherford by 5:54. Hydro 6:06. Geary right around 6:31. And I can't pronounce the other two, but eventually by Kingfisher right around 7:10. So those are the main areas in the path of this storm as of right now. Actually, to be completely honest with you, it's both storms. So I'm tracking both storms out at this point. So that's kind of your track at this point in terms of where these storms will be going. Basically just along and just to the north of Interstate 40 is where your, again, baseball-sized hailstorms as of right now are, as well as the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour as you move off to the east. And that's, again, those are the main storms there. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning just behind it for the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and $half sized hail. That is Hammond, Butler, Morewood, Foss Reservoir. Those areas are included in that warning, and that's going off to the northeast. And this has already had a report of quarter-sized hail. That was actually from an earlier storm. Never mind. That was in Roger Mills County, Oklahoma. There was a quarter-sized hail reported there. There was also Hennig-sized hail reported about an hour ago near Hammond. And that was also in Custer County, Oklahoma. So a couple of hail reports there from a little while ago. But again, there's potential for baseball-sized hail. I think I'm going to take a look at the velocities again. See if there's any rotation. This storm is starting to get a little bit of inflow into the storm, so there's a possibility we start to see some rotation with that. As of right now, it's very broad, but we definitely could see maybe some rotation down the road with that storm. So definitely one to watch. That's going to be going right along and just to the north of Interstate 40 as it moves off to the east. And again, we have some more severe thunderstorm warnings back out here to the west. For those in the eastern panhandle of Texas, Shamrock as well as Wellington for the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and Hennig-sized hail. And again, there's already been a report of Hennig-sized hail about an hour ago in Collingsworth County, Texas. And there's also another storm that's producing potentially up to tennis ball sized hail near Memphis right now. So this is the most dangerous storm out of all of the ones that we've seen so far, and also damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour will be possible, and there's not really any rotation with this storm, so good news there, but there's definitely very large hail. And the main threat again today will be large hail. If you haven't already seen the Storm Prediction Center's forecast, you can go ahead and take a look. An enhanced risk of severe weather does exist really where all the storms are as of right now, and if you go to the hail probability for tonight, you can see that hatched area there going to represent your potential for very large hailstones, and it's pretty much spot on with what we've seen so far today. And that does include areas like Clinton, Childress. Childress could even see some very large hailstones tonight as well. And even if you're outside of these areas, you definitely could see some large hail. And also, here's your tornado threat. So that green shaded region representing your potential for maybe a low-end tornado threat for tonight. It's, again, very low, but if we can get a storm that's discrete enough or has enough of an inflow, we definitely could see a tornado threat. And so far, the most prominent storm of having that so far is this one. It's not necessarily discrete, but it definitely has a bit of an inflow. So we could very well see potentially a tornado threat for that storm if we can kind of continue what it's doing right now. So definitely going to be something to watch there. And those are the main storms as of right now. We're going to keep an eye on these storms primarily as they head off toward Weatherford, and we'll kind of take a look at the other ones as well throughout the live stream. And again, if you're just joining us, make sure to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If you hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. Hey, Virginia, how you doing? Welcome. Been a good day so far. Yes, it has. Thank you. Let me look where that is. I'm not sure where that is in Oklahoma. This is probably my first live stream actually doing Oklahoma weather. Yeah, you might see some storms later tonight near Oklahoma City. Yeah, the Oklahoma City metro area definitely could see some storms tonight. I don't think they'll be nearly as severe as they are right now. They definitely won't actually, but they might be a little bit on the low end severe threat, maybe marginally severe. That's kind of what we're looking at in terms of tonight. I appreciate it, Floss. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. No problem. Yeah, I definitely do. Again, I'm kind of doing some other weather sometimes. Again, I'm kind of primarily going to be focusing on the Texas storms. We actually have now a tornado warning. We're actually going to go over this now. So there's now a tornado warning near Arkansas City. This has been a storm that we're watching for a while, but I don't think it was really rotating too much. But there's now a new tornado warning for those near Arkansas City and Gouda Springs, as well as the Strotherfield Airport. We have a tornado warning there. And this actually has had a hook for a while. I don't know if it was rotating, but this is now a tornado warning. Let's go and take a look at the velocities. And yeah, there's some rotation there. So definitely a storm to watch very closely. And this is, again, going off to the northeast. And let me go ahead and take a screenshot. I gotta go ahead and make a new thumbnail here. But again, there's now a tornado warning. So this is just in far southern Kansas. And this could definitely produce a tornado. The rotation is definitely there. You can see it on the radar here. There's definitely some rotation here, trying to rotate, going off to the east-northeast right now toward Gouda Springs and just to the northwest of Arkansas City. So again, there's a new tornado warning. So make sure you are seeking shelter immediately away from windows, interior room of your house, lowest floor possible. This could definitely produce a tornado at any time. Again, that's moving off to the east-northeast right now. A pretty rural area, I believe, but I think Arkansas City, excuse me, I have a bit more of a population. I'm making a new thumbnail here. I'm going to post it right now. All right. There we go. All right. Hey, Texie, how you doing? Welcome back. All right, cool. Yeah, again, for those that are just joining us, we have a tornado warning ongoing for those that are in far southern Kansas. This is moving off to the east-northeast as of right now. Again, here's a look at the reflectivity. It has a hook here. You can very well see it. And my pen's lagging. There we go. Here's your hook right here. Again, here's where your inflow is going. A tornado would be possible right about there. And there's the latest radar update. So again, your hook is right here. Inflow, and again, that would be where your tornado is located, and that's going right toward Gouda Springs. If there's a tornado on the ground, let's take a look at the latest radar update. Still some rotation there. It's still broad, but it definitely could strengthen. So that's moving off to the east-northeast as of right now. We also have a new damaging wind report of 60 miles per hour in Custer County, Oklahoma, by the way. And there's also been a report of tennis ball-sized hail 7 miles east of Butler. So new hail report there just for those that are tuning in from those areas. We'll go back to those storms here pretty shortly. I'm paying attention to this tornado warning, though, very closely for you as it goes toward Gouda Springs. I'm probably not saying that name right. Let me look up the pronunciation to this. Let's see. Again, this is a tornado warning right now for Arkansas City. And where I'm trying to figure out pronunciation, but there's none taped up. All right, cool. Yes, this is a hook echo, so we definitely have a hook on this storm right now. This is moving again off to the northeast. You can see your hook. So it's actually a very interesting looking supercell here. We have obviously your hook, you have your inflow notch, your inflow going into the storm. And then we obviously have the hook right here. That's where your tornado will be located, which is just to the southwest right now of Gouda Springs. And that's moving off to the northeast. And you can very well see it's a very classic supercell. You got your ring going out like this, kind of like a cone almost. And then again, here's where your main storm is. That's where your hook is. And again, ping pong ball size tail possible with the storm as well. But that is a very well-defined hook as of right now, moving off to the east-northeast. So this is definitely a storm to watch very closely. And again, here's where your rotation is. It's not very strong. And again, with this type of environment, we're not looking for long track tornadoes by any means. A lot of these will probably be brief and weak, but we definitely could see a tornado threat tonight. So it's definitely something to watch, but it's going to be low. But again, we have a pretty pronounced hook right now. Then Dexter, by the way, will be hit by the storm around 7 o'clock. So it's a couple hours. It's about an hour and a half from there. But main area right now is going to be Gouda Springs right now, going off to the northeast. And definitely make sure you're seeking shelter again. Interior room of your house, away from windows. That's going to be your recommendation as of right now as the storm moves off to the east-northeast. And again, this is a tornado-warned storm as of 5:30 p.m. So we're watching the storm very closely. It was just issued 5 minutes ago. Again, it's radar indicated rotation. Not a confirmed tornado, but it definitely could develop at any time in the next several minutes. So watch this very closely. Again, if you're in this area. And here's a look at the velocities as of right now. Again, there's some rotation here. Here are your winds right now. Let me see what radar I'm on. I'm on the Wichita radar. So again, these are going to be your winds going toward the radar. If I can get my pen out here. Here are your winds going toward the radar, winds going away from the radar. And again, that's where your rotation is. It's broad as of right now, but it definitely could develop at any time. And latest radar scan still showing some broad rotation as of right now, but it could very well develop. We have a very pronounced hook as of right now. And you very well can see it here. It's a very pronounced hook. Here's your hail core, so that could be ping pong ball sized hail. Again, that's where your inflow is going. And again, this is where your hook is. And eventually, again, tornado would be probably possible right about here. Kind of where you're looking as of right now. That's close to Gouda Springs as of right now, moving off to the northeast. No problem, Texie. Yeah, I'm probably gonna make a shorter cap explanation video pretty soon. That's a bit shorter, like 2 to 3 minutes. A bit more pretty much just more of a simplistic explanation. I've been thinking about making one pretty soon. And here's a look at the whole map as of right now. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings, many of them producing baseball-sized hail. We're going to keep our main focus still on this tornado warning, again, for those that are just northwest of Arkansas City. And if you're just joining us, by the way, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps that channel out a lot. And yeah, we do live streams like this all the time, so you won't miss anything if you do subscribe and hit that like button. And again, this is moving off to the northeast. It'll probably go toward Winfield within the next 30 minutes or so. That's kind of your track as of right now. Let me put a track on this storm. And again, this is moving about 15 miles per hour, estimated by radar. So we're going to go ahead and kind of go with that here. We'll go and put a little track on here. So about 15, up to 17. I'll put 17 on here. And the only towns on here are basically Burden, right around 710. That's kind of your track as of right now. Might be going a little bit further to the south, maybe a bit more east-northeast. Winfield, again, would probably be right around 620 or so. So that's the track on this warned storm as of right now. So a bit of a track there for you. I remove the track, but that was the track for this storm as it moves off to the east-northeast. And again, your main warning details on the left side of your screen. So again, goes until 6:15 tonight. Pretty pronounced hook as of right now. And again, there's some pretty strong rotation with it. It's not strong, but it's definitely moderate to pretty much broad. It's kind of on the lower end of moderate, so pretty close to highly broad rotation as of right now. Again, that's where your rotation is. Winds going toward the radar, winds going toward the or away from the radar. Again, that's where your rotation is as of right now. It's still fairly broad. It could very well strengthen, though, with how much of an inflow we have with this storm right now. There's a very good chance that we see this kind of strengthen here over the next several minutes. And this, again, moving off to the east-northeast. And again, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in chat. I'll kind of get to them throughout the live stream. We'll go to other warnings eventually, but we're going to keep our main focus right now on this tornado-warned storm. And again, that's going to be going just to the northwest of Arkansas City. Hey, Charles, how you doing? Welcome. Watching from Bahamas. Nice to see you. How you doing? Welcome. Yeah, this is a very classic. I mean, it looks like a pretty classic supercell. It's not nearly, it's not like the most severe storm you've ever seen. It's not like very high cloud tops, but it is definitely, you can see your little cone shape right here. Again, this is where your hook is. Inflow going into the storm. And again, that's where your rotation, that's where a tornado is possible. Here's your latest radar update. So again, it's still remaining in pretty good shape right now. A little bit lesser on the hook at this point, a little bit lesser in terms of how the hook is pronounced. It's not nearly as pronounced as before, but it definitely is still a very severe storm, producing ping pong ball sized hail. Rotation as of right now, the latest scans showing much broader rotations. The last few scans, it continues to get a lot more broad. So this actually might be be canceled here in a few minutes. We'll have to wait and see. This warning may be canceled. As of right now, it looks to be very broad rotation now. With this storm. And as of right now, a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll get to those here in just a moment, but rotation's broadened out a lot more than what it was just a few moments ago. And again, this kind of look at your storm as of right now. But as of right now, there's still pretty strong inflow. I mean, there's nothing out in front of the storm that could really, kill it off from rotating. So we definitely could see this storm rotating for a while. But as of right now, the rotation is definitely a lot more broad. Again, that's going toward Winfield eventually, as well as Burden and Dexter. Those areas will not be impacted for another 30 to 40 minutes with at least a tornado-warned portion of this storm. So just keep that in mind. About to have a pool party. How long does Lubbock have? It's a good question. Let me go and take a look at the radar down there. I don't know if Lubbock will see too much tonight. If you see anything, it'll probably be developing within the next hour or two. Let me go to the... Go to satellite imagery real quick. Satellite imagery usually gives you the better idea of what to be expecting. if there's any clouds developing and whatnot. But near Lubbock right now, it doesn't seem to be too much. Seems like there's clouds building, but no supercells are really developing as of right now. It definitely could change, though. But definitely be on alert. I mean, storms will kind of continue to develop down to the southwest here over the next couple of hours, so it definitely could occur that you see a storm down there, closer to Lubbock. Lubbock, I think, is partly cloudy, by the looks of the satellite imagery, at least. By the way, if you're just joining the stream, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the live stream. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, we're going to be live for a while, covering this storm and many others. And again, there's baseball-sized hail ongoing in west central Oklahoma, and as well as the eastern panhandle, so just keep that in mind. Hey, Cyan, how you doing? Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, and I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, now this will hit DFW tonight. DFW will stay, for the most part, dry. Can't rely on an isolated shower. We'll have severe weather possibilities tomorrow and as well as Thursday. And you can check out the latest on those on my latest forecast, and I think as well as on my Facebook page. I just posted a graphic for tomorrow. We have a marginal threat for severe weather in DFW tomorrow, but it's going to be primarily for the overnight hours. San Antonio, I think. I don't know if it's San Antonio. I know, where was it? San Angelo. San Angelo saw a big hailstorm the other day. I don't know if they actually saw hail, but I know there was a storm warned there for baseball-sized hail about, I think it was last week. Thank you, Scott, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. We'll check out our next radar update here in just a moment. Again, this is a rotating storm moving off to the east-northeast. This is just to the northwest of Arkansas City. Again, if you're in this warning, make sure you're seeking shelter immediately away from windows. This is, again, moving off to the east-northeast. Interior of your house, if you don't really have one, make sure you get into like a bathroom and cover yourself over with a mattress pad or something like that. That's the best way to stay safe in this sort of situation. And I think we might have actually gotten our latest radar update. I might have just missed it. Here's a look at the velocities again. And again, very broad rotation. This storm had much tighter rotation a little while ago, but this is your winds. I mean, there's at least a couple of miles in between, you know, the rotations as of right now. So it looks to be fairly broad rotation as of right now. Not something I would be panicking over. I would still be seeking shelter anyways if you're in this warning, but I'm not panicking over this. You should not be panicking. It's not a panic sort of situation. It seems to be very broad rotation, luckily so far. But again, I would definitely be seeking shelter if you're in this warning, just in case, as a good safety precaution. The tornado warning is still ongoing, has not been canceled yet. I would imagine it probably will get canceled at some point, but it's a very pronounced supercell. I mean, you can very well see, again, your cone shape up here. And again, you're kind of your hook. The hook is not very pronounced anymore, though. It's more of like a kind of like a squiggle going backwards now. It's not nearly as pronounced as before. But again, ping pong ball sized hail report or potential in this black and pink shaded region in those regions there. So definitely something to watch very closely as it moves off to the east northeast. And again, if you're just joining us, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Again, we're going to be live for a while. I do appreciate everybody's support. Liking the live stream does help out a lot. And again, it's just off to the northwest of Arkansas City, so we're watching this pretty closely. We'll be going toward Winfield over the next 30 minutes or so. The track as of right now puts Winfield right around 620 in terms of the tornado portion of the storm, where if there was a tornado basically in this spot here, that's going to be there in Winfield right around 625 or so, 620, 625. Hail core will probably be there within the next 30 minutes or so. It'll probably be there right around, I would say, 610 or so. Maybe 605. So those in Winfield, definitely make sure you're aware of that. Should get our next radar scan in about, let's see, about a minute, I think. So the radar should update here in just a moment. I'm planning to drive to Austin tomorrow again. Will the Austin see any threat this week? Austin, I don't think you'll see much in terms of severe weather this week. I think you'll probably stay for the most part. If you see anything, it'll probably just be like, you know, ordinary thunderstorms. I don't think there's gonna be much of a threat for severe weather down there this week. Let me double check though. I don't think there's anything on the day 3 outlook. You're under like a very slim marginal risk. I don't think you'll see much though. I think Austin should be fine. Hey Jimmy, how you doing? Welcome from Central Florida. Welcome on in. How you doing? Welcome. Yes, Florida might begin that tropical system next week. Or not the next week, I mean this week actually. Here's the latest radar update. Velocities just updated. And again, very broad rotation. This rotation's been broadening out for a while. Definitely some strong winds on. I mean, we could be talking about 55, 60 mile per hour winds in this area here near Gouda Springs. And that's just to the northwest of Arkansas City. But I mean, this might be in a recycling stage. That's definitely a possibility. You might see a redeveloped hook in this area sometime soon. That's definitely a possibility with this storm. Might be kind of trying to recycle a little bit, but I think the odds of that right now are probably pretty low. And we got several severe thunderstorm warnings, by the way, down to the southwest. Flash flood warning was just issued north of Elk City. We'll get to those warnings again just in a moment. We're going to focus on the tornado warning for right now, and I'll kind of keep you updated here. Again, if you have any questions and you have any questions for chat or anything like that, you can put them in the chat. I'll get to some of the questions here as well. Any tropical weather questions, you can go to my latest forecast. A bit more of a detailed forecast on there. We also have a post on our Facebook page. Facebook is linked in the description below. gives you more of an idea of what to expect for this tropical system. It has a 70% chance of development, by the way, over the next 5 days in the Gulf. So definitely be something to watch. Have any of these tornadoes been on the ground or just spin-ups? As of right now, we have no confirmation of any tornadoes. So, I mean, we definitely could see, you know, a tornado tonight. But as of right now, no confirmed tornadoes. And this storm has had some, you know, moderately strong rotation. It hasn't been, you know, tight. It's definitely been strong at times. But as of right now, it seems to be a bit more of a broader rotation as it moves off to the northeast. Yeah, that's going toward Winfield as of right now, just to the north and northwest of Arkansas City. Again, don't panic over the situation. If you're in this warning, just make sure you seek shelter away from windows. No need to panic. This is not a tornado warning where we're seeing very tight rotation, but definitely make sure you're staying away from windows, interior of your house. You know, huddle down. What you got to do, stay safe in this sort of situation, and you know, just ride it out. I don't think there's a tornado on the ground as of right now, as I kind of mentioned before. In my opinion, it seems to be very broad rotation from the radar standpoint. And let's go a little bit higher up in the atmosphere. I don't know if it's any tighter or a little bit higher up. As of right now, it looks to be a little bit tighter up here in the atmosphere. That's the scan of about 538, and then going over the last, you know, going a little bit lower levels, you can still see it's very broad rotation. I mean, that's at least a mile apart in terms of rotation, and eventually at the surface, there's just not a whole lot. This is, again, where a tornado would be located if there was one. Seems to be very broad. I mean, we're not looking at anything in terms of, you know, very tight rotation, but again, it's definitely something to watch. So definitely make sure you're staying tuned. Again, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. I do appreciate everybody tuning in again. We're going to be making sure you're staying updated throughout the rest of the evening with the storms that are ongoing. We'll definitely be paying attention to the other storms as well. We got some other strong storms right now going through Augusta, by the way. There was some nickel-sized hail reported up that way at about 5:30. That's near Augusta. So definitely going to be some other storms out there. We've seen plenty of baseball-sized hail already tonight down in Oklahoma, as well as the eastern panhandle of Texas. We've seen some tennis ball-sized hail, so a lot of hail ongoing as well with these storms. Next radar update, by the way, coming in about a minute. So should get that here in just a moment. Actually, I think we'll get it probably within the next 30 seconds. And it looks like we will. By the way, thank you, Jimmy, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Find that pronunciation humorous? I'm going to let you know I'm horrible pronouncing city names. I've never been good with it, so yeah, I mean, if you watch any of my other prior live streams, pronunciations have always been pretty bad. They've never been that good. Here's the latest rate update, by the way. So we just got a new one. And let's take a look at the velocities again. And still some broad rotation. It's very broad. I mean, we're still seeing some strong winds here on the eastern side of the storm going toward the radar. But going away from the radar, it's just very, very broad. You can see all this rotation here. It's just very, very broad. Those are the winds going away from the radar. Again, they kind of have to be tight. So we're not seeing that tightening that I would, you know, you'd imagine with a tornado sort of situation if there was a tornado on the ground. If we go up in the upper levels a little bit, I don't know if the radar's updated. And yeah, you can see that there's a little bit more rotation, a little bit higher up in the atmosphere. It's a little bit stronger. It's still fairly broad though, so it's not anything too crazy as of right now, but definitely gonna be something to watch as it moves out to the east-northeast. There is a lot of town names in Kansas and Oklahoma especially, that are hard to pronounce. If you're not from the state. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, out in western portions of Oklahoma. We'll get to that soon. After this tornado warning gets canceled, I'm guessing it's probably going to get canceled unless something really dramatically changes in the next few minutes, but we'll get to the other storms as well here in a minute. There's a lot of storms producing baseball-sized hail, so we're going to get to those as well. Have a great day. Appreciate you tuning in. And Chimkin, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, we're watching a tornado warned storm in far southern Kansas. This is moving off to the east-northeast right now, just to the north of Arkansas City. Again, just south of Winfield. It's kind of between those two locations. Again, this storm's going to be tracking off to the east. I'm going to put a time track on this for you, for those that are just tuning in. Anyone that's out in front of the storm, to kind of give you an idea of when you can expect the storm to arrive to your location. Let's go and put that track on here for you. I believe it's moving about 15. I don't know why I'm going so far out, but it's about 18 or so miles per hour. So Winfield 555. So within the next few minutes, you'll probably see that hail core. Burden 645, Dexter 646, Cambridge, excuse me, 701, and Granola right around 741. So that's your timeline as of right now as it moves off to the east. Again, the details on the timing is on your left side of your screen if I talk too fast for you. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, that's your time track for this storm as it moves off to the east. And it does look like the storm is trying to recycle. I mean, what we've seen in the last several scans here is that the initial hook is kind of weakened. Now we have a bit more of a new hook trying to form, it looks like. And then again, this is where your main hail core is. That's been strengthening here over the last several minutes. So we definitely very well could see this trying to recycle right now. And yeah, it's starting to recycle. You can start to see there's a bit more of a red showing up down here. That's representing winds going away from the radar. That's definitely stronger than before. This is still very broad rotation, but it's trying to strengthen, and we might see that over the next couple of scans. So definitely a storm to still watch very closely. Looks like we're starting to see a bit more of a recycling stage as it moves off to the east-northeast. And again, that's just north of Arkansas City by about 5 miles or so. So this is moving very quickly, or it's not moving quickly, but it's moving very slowly off to the northeast. And again, this might try to redevelop here over the next several minutes. So definitely make sure you're staying aware if you're in this area. Again, you should be in shelter if you're not already. It is starting to recycle again. Here's a look at the live radar. And again, we got our hook kind of developing again. Still a very strong inflow, by the way. I mean, there's just nothing out in front of this to really stop an inflow from coming into the storm. So, and again, it's not a prime setup by any means. We're not looking at a very strong shear day by any means or a very strong low-level jet. We're just really looking at this very strong inflow, and that's why we have that tornado threat with this sort of storm. And again, the tornado threat tonight is going to be very low, but if a storm can become discrete, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this forecast, which this one is fairly discrete at this point, I mean, a tornado threat is definitely there. It's definitely on the table with these storms, so definitely something to watch very closely. Thank you, Roy, for the report. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think there's some storms going up that way. Yeah, son, I can look at the future radar in a little bit. I'm going to primarily focus on the tornado warning as of right now. Once this tornado warning expires, again, we'll go through all the other severe thunderstorm warnings, and then eventually we'll get to the timing. I know it's going to be it'll probably be a little bit until that happens, but the storm is definitely trying to recycle, so we're definitely going to be watching this very closely. Again, that's going toward Winfield and just north of Arkansas City. And that's going to be moving off to the northeast. It'll be going toward Dexter and Cambridge probably within the next hour or so. So definitely those that are out in front of it, definitely make sure you have your plans in place. Have a safety plan already organized with your family. Or if you're just by yourself, make sure you have a good safety plan in place. Hey, Robert, how you doing? Welcome. As well as Roy, welcome. How you doing? Come on in. And next radar update should be coming in here in a minute or so. Should be actually coming in within the next 30 seconds. It's coming in here in just a moment. So next radar scan's coming in here in a second. See if the rotation's strengthened at all. If we have any new details, that sort of thing. This camera, let me check real quick. Camera kind of low. A little bit low. Oh, like a smidge. Fine. All right. I'm kind of leaning back a little bit. All right. This is the latest radar update in about 10 seconds. Going through its sweep as of right now. We'll get an idea if the rotation's been strengthening at all or whatnot here. All right, we got a next radar update. And again, this is where your hook is. You got a little bit of a hook here. Again, your inflow going into the storm does not seem to be very pronounced. We just got an update on the tornado warning. It's now only including Arkansas City and far eastern Gouda Springs and also just south of Winfield. So we have a new update on the warning, and as of right now, this is the look at your rotation. Rotation is still, I mean, it's not tight at this point. We're not seeing anything that would indicate there's a tornado on the ground. It could happen at any point within the next 20 to 30 minutes, but as of right now, this is again where your rotation is. It's still fairly broad. We're not seeing a very tight spot on where, you know, a tornado would be, but again, it would probably locate within this circle that I just kind of drew. It was a horrible circle, but basically, if there was a tornado, it would probably be located right about there. So that's kind of what we're looking at this point. Again, that's just north of Arkansas City. And here's a look at your radar. So again, some strong winds, definitely some large hail, ping pong ball sized hail possible with this storm, especially in this area here. There might be even some small hail just to the northeast of Gouda Springs going toward Winfield. But as of right now, we're still seeing some fairly broad rotation. Nothing that's tight and would indicate to me that there's a tornado on the ground, but it's definitely going to be still something to watch here over the next several minutes as it moves off to the northeast. Yeah, there's no debris signature. This is not, you know, no, there's not a tornado on the ground by any means right now. There could be one at any time. Again, this is a radar-indicated tornado warning. There was no confirmation of a tornado, nothing like that yet. Let me go up a little bit higher up in the atmosphere, actually. I haven't looked at the higher up atmosphere rotation here in a minute. Yeah, you can definitely see there's definitely some strong rotation up a little bit higher in the atmosphere, like near good, like look at this. So this is strong rotation. This is probably tight. This is at least probably about at least a few thousand feet up in the atmosphere, but that's definitely some strong rotation. You can see the winds going away or toward the radar, away from the radar. Again, that's where your tight rotation is. Latest radar scan shows now that it's broader again. So, I mean, it's recycling. It's been in this recycling stage for a while, but it's definitely a lot more broad. Nothing there that would indicate anything like a tornado or a funnel cloud at this point. But if you get closer down to the surface, we're not looking at anything, you know, particularly dangerous or anything that would indicate that there's a tornado on the ground. But as of right now, we're looking at. Again, we'll be watching the storm very closely. Tornado warning is still going to be ongoing. That's going to be going toward Winfield. So definitely make sure you're staying aware of that situation as it moves off to the northeast. Thank you, Robert, by the way, for the 99-cent super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you. Off the alert. Alert does pop up. All right, cool. Appreciate you with the generous 99-cent donation. Thank you. All right, here's a look at the latest radar update. So definitely a very pronounced storm. I mean, this is definitely a supercell, no doubt about it. We still got that large hail going near Winfield, but the rotation as of right now seems to be a bit broader. I'm going to go back to the reflectivity. Latest radar update's still showing. I mean, it's still trying to get a little bit tighter. I mean, we still got very strong winds going toward the radar. Going away from the radar again, not nearly that impressive, but we'll still be watching it fairly closely. At this current time, we're not seeing anything that would indicate, again, a tornado would be on the ground, but it could definitely be developing, so we're definitely watching it closely. Yeah, we do have a cold front. That cold front will actually bring some cooler weather to the southern plains here pretty soon. We got a dozen severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. I'm going to get to those probably after this next scan and see if this does start to develop more. I will stay on the storm, but if not, I'm going to go hop over to the other storms real quick, kind of give you a breakdown on those. I know a lot of you might be tuning in for those storms that are producing potentially baseball and tennis ball sized hail, so. Topeka, oh, I missed that. Topeka, Texas, or excuse me, Kansas. I don't know why I just said Texas. I don't know if, wait, where's the question? I missed it. Is there a question about that? Oh, is there gonna be storms? There's a possibility, but I don't think it's gonna be, you know, where that is anymore. Gonna be brutally honest with you. All right, let me look it up on good old handy Google. Yeah. I should know where that is. I don't know why I don't know. Again, I don't really do Kansas weather that often, so I guess I can at least have an excuse for it. You probably won't see much tonight. If you see any storms, it'll probably be, you know, it'll probably be pretty marginal in terms of severe weather. You might see something, though. I think it's like a 30% chance or so tonight. Yeah, this is all just north of Arkansas City. Again, this is your tornado-warned storm. No tornado confirmed as of right now. And you got a bit of a hook here, a little bit of inflow going into the storm, but nothing in terms of strong rotation or anything that's tight as of right now, so. Thank you, Roy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not from Kansas, so. All right. Again, we'll get our next radar update here in a moment. 5-2, let's see. Yeah, we should get it. Actually, it's coming in right now, so we'll see if anything has changed. If not, we're going to hop over to the baseball size and tennis ball sized hailstorms as of pretty quick, and then we'll go back to this one after that, but. This radar's only been updating every like 5 minutes or so, or every 4 minutes. Again, if you have any questions about any sort of the weather ongoing right now, make sure to leave them in the chat again. As well as make sure to like the live stream if you haven't already. Would appreciate it. Helps the stream out a lot. All right, we got our latest radar update coming in right now. There we go. All right, storm is definitely looking different. It's not nearly the same as it was before, obviously, but here's a look at the rotation. Whoa, okay, this has actually really changed. All right, we definitely have stronger rotation. That's why I said that we're going to stay on the storm. There's definitely stronger rotation. You can see it's a bit tighter now. It's definitely strengthening, so definitely make sure you're still in shelter for those that are in this tornado warning. Again, that's just north of Arkansas City. We definitely have stronger rotation. Not tight, but it's strong. We're not seeing that, you know, that bright colors combined. That means there's not a tornado warning or tornado on the ground as of now, but it could happen at any time. This is much stronger rotation. Again, it's moving off to the east, northeast right now. It's going to be going just to the south of Winfield, kind of between those two locations. We have very strong rotation here. And this is definitely potentially producing a tornado at any time. That is a big difference from what we just saw a moment ago. So that's why this is still tornado warning. It still has a hook. It still has the inflow notch. That is why this warning was not really canceled, which is good, obviously, for those that are in this warning. Make sure you're seeking shelter. At least there's a tornado warning, not, you know, a tornado on the ground without a tornado warning. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's definitely strengthened in the last scan. So definitely a storm to watch very closely. It's moved off to the east northeast. Again, this is where your hook is. A tornado would possibly be located there. You got a bit of a, it's pretty small hook at this point. It's not that defined. It's small. And again, here's your inflow going into the storm. That's kind of gets your rotation kicked up. We don't really have much out in front of it to hinder that inflow notch. So we definitely have some inflow right now going into the storm. And here's the latest on that rotation. So it's definitely strengthening here in the last scan. And that's moving off to the east northeast as of right now. Yeah, there is a lot of baseball-sized hail in Oklahoma. I'm hoping to get back to that pretty soon, but as of right now, I am pretty much focused on this storm. Again, there's a tornado warning. Tornado warning is a bit more important than large hail in most instances, so watching the storm pretty closely. Again, there's a lot of other hailstone storms going on right now. We'll get to those again pretty soon. After this warning, you know, subsides or whatnot, we'll, you know, get back to those. Also look at the other rotation. I think there's a couple of other storms rotating, but not nearly to the same magnitude at this point. Yeah, we've seen some, let's see. There's a little bit of, there's been some broad rotation in several of those storms that are producing very large hail, very broad. The storm near Custer City has been producing probably the strongest. I mean, it's still broad, but it's there. So again, for those that are north of Arkansas City, we have strengthening rotation here that's moving off to the east-northeast, and I'll probably just stay just to the south of Winfield. It's probably going through a pretty rural area, I'm assuming, but that is a tornado warned storm. Again, this might be producing a tornado anytime. There could even be a tornado on the ground right now. We don't know for sure, but definitely some strong rotation there as it moves off to the east-northeast. We just got our latest radar update. Again, the hook is still there. Yeah, tornado would probably be located right about there. Let's go to the velocities. And latest update on the velocities. It's still there. It's definitely not, it's a little bit slightly weaker than before, but it's definitely still there. Again, if there was a tornado, it would probably be located actually right about here, a little bit further south than I marked. But as of right now, where we're looking for that rotation, still very strong winds going toward the radar, away from the radar, not nearly as strong. Again, that's moving off to the northeast as of right now. Here's a look at the reflectivity as of right now. Very potent supercell right now. Again, tornado warning as of right now for those in Arkansas City and just south of Winfield. So is it coming toward Arkansas City? It should just stay north of Arkansas City. As of right now, this is moving off to the northeast. The tornado portion of the storm, if there is a tornado, it would be located somewhere in here. It's probably going to be located right about here, but that's kind of where we're looking. So if you're in northern Arkansas City, still be in shelter, but if you're anywhere in like central or southern, you're probably fine. I mean, this storm is going to be just staying off to your north. So yeah, you should be fine there in Arkansas City. It's just off to the north of there. It's kind of in a rural area. It's in between Arkansas City and Winfield, so those areas are a bit more rural. By the way, thank you, Sewing, for subscribing. Appreciate it. Welcome. Appreciate you subscribing. All right, real quick, since the radar is probably going to take a minute to update, we're going to go to the hailstorms right now in western central Oklahoma. These have been producing baseball-sized hail for a while, and we have a new tornado warning. We have a confirmed tornado. We're going to go to this one. We have a now confirmation of a tornado in far western Oklahoma. And this is basically near Hollis and Gold. And as well as McKnight and McQueen. Those areas are included in a confirmed tornado. So this has been observed by a trained weather spotter, I'm assuming. All right, we're going to stay on this storm now. We have now a confirmed tornado. Again, that's near Dodson right now. We have a confirmation of a tornado by a trained weather spotter. And let's look at the velocities, and this is where your tornado would probably be located, right around Dodson right now. I'm guessing it's that. Let's take a look at the reflectivity here. We have now a confirmed tornado, and I don't know if it's that. I think it's probably closer to Dodson right now. I don't know if I have a better radar view here of any other radar sites. Let me go to the Amarillo radar. Nah, that's too far. All right, well, it's kind of in between them. As of right now, there's a confirmed tornado, though. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in this little notch here near Dodson. So Dodson's not included in the warning, but that is apparently where that tornado has probably been spotted. But again, there's a confirmed tornado right now heading east toward 30, and it's just going to the, it looks like just to the north of Hollis. But Hollis and Gold are included in this warning, as well as McKnight and McQueen. We have now a confirmed tornado, again, that is in western Oklahoma. And this storm's moving east at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, and that's again going just north of Route 62 as of right now. So this is a storm. Make sure you're seeking shelter, again, away from windows, interior room of your house. No confirmation on terms of how large this tornado is, but we know there is a tornado on the ground. And again, that's been confirmed or at least observed at this point in terms of, again, a tornado has been confirmed on the ground near Dodson. And again, for those that are tuning in from the southern Kansas tornado warning, we will go back to that if there is any sort of reports on the tornado or whatnot. Rotation is still there. It is not. It's still there. So if you're in that warning as well, in southern Kansas, there near Arkansas City and Winfield, make sure you're seeking shelter with that storm as well. Again, there's a confirmed tornado in western Oklahoma. This is basically on the Texas and Oklahoma border near Hollis and just off to the northwest of Hollis. And that's northwest of Gold. And that's also going toward McKnight and McQueen. Those areas are also included in this warning. And again, the tornado, if there's a tornado, it's going to be located right about here near Dodson. That's where it is, kind of where that inflow is going into the storm. And again, kind of got a little hook here. It's not, your classic supercell, but it definitely has a pretty pronounced hook right now going off to the east. And again, if there is no tornado, there's still going to be golf ball sized hail. But as of what we know, there is a confirmed tornado. It's been observed by weather spotters in the area. We should get more details on the size and if it's been brief or whatnot here pretty shortly. So we should get those details here any moment. Yeah, the tornado warning storm right now near Arkansas City is still rotating. I haven't looked at it in a moment here, but yeah, there definitely could still be some rotation. There's definitely still rotation with that storm. Yeah, there's definitely a hook. It's definitely actually getting stronger up there as well. We have 2 storms though as of right now. The one near Arkansas City is not confirmed tornado yet. It's still rotating, but it's not confirmed. It's moderately strong rotation. And again, this storm right now. All right, we got a new tornado warning for Dodson. Confirmed tornado has been observed. They just included this very tiny tornado warning, but kind of get an idea of where that tornado is. It's going to be probably in here somewhere. That's where I'm guessing it is as of right now. And that'll begin going toward 30. And we just got confirmed tornado again. That new tornado warning was just issued for basically, it's issued for 45 minutes. It'll probably be canceled here in a few minutes once the storm moves off to the east. But again, the tornado is still in Texas. It will be crossing it over in Oklahoma at any moment. So again, if you're in this warning, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows. Let's go back to the velocities. And it seems like the rotation is over here. But I'm pretty sure that's not where rotation should be. Yeah, that's kind of like the rain area. Let me go to the storm relative velocity here. I mean, it shows right here. So it might actually be just northwest of Hollis. It actually might be in Oklahoma now. But it seems like this was like kind of the area. I mean, I don't know why this tornado warning just got issued there. But again, that's it looks like for right now, that's possibly where the rotation is. I know it shows up here on radar that's showing it's rotating there. But again, that's just in far western Oklahoma right now, northwest of Hollis. That's where the tornado is potentially right now. And the storm near Arkansas City, by the way, the latest scan showing a little bit broader rotation. Again, I'm looking on my phone, so anyone that's watching for that storm in Arkansas City, and as well as just south of Winfield, we will be keeping you updated with that storm. But again, as of right now, the rotation just broadened in the last scan a little bit more. But again, still stay in shelter. That hook on that storm is insane. So sure you are seeking shelter away from windows from that storm as well. That one in southern Kansas. Yeah, if you're just joining us, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Again, we are doing live streams like this all the time for the Southern Plains. We're not just North Texas weather, so live streams are kind of all over. Do appreciate everybody tuning in. And again, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. We're only 30 likes away from 100, so I would appreciate it if you do hit that like button. All right, again, we have a confirmed tornado. For those that are just joining us northwest of Hollis, we're watching the storm very closely for you, so make sure you're staying tuned. We have no details as of yet on how large this tornado is. It's likely not a large PDS sort of situation. It's not PDS warned, so it's probably some sort of small, maybe brief tornado is what I'm thinking as of right now is what this is. You want to go storm chasing? Yeah, it's actually, you know, it's surprising. I think most of this stuff, again, will probably be brief in terms of tornadoes, but yeah, I mean, this is definitely a setup. If again, I kind of mentioned this at the beginning of this live stream. If any storms become discrete, that is when we'll see a tornado threat. So far, that's what we're seeing as of right now. Yeah, it's just north of Dodson. This is kind of where you're, if there was a tornado, it would probably be located right about here somewhere near Dodson. That's where I'm thinking. And let me go on Twitter and see if there's any posts about how large this tornado might be or anything like that. So let's go and take a look. All right, yeah, we have a confirmed tornado. Again, that's going to be moving to Harmon County, Oklahoma. And looks to be, I'm seeing video on Twitter right now. The tornado seems to be somewhat small. It's picking up a lot of dust. It's in a bit of a dust field right now. What I've seen so far looks to be definitely on the ground. See the dust being lifted up. Again, here's where your tornado would probably be located, right about here near Dodson right now. And that's, again, going to Harmon County, Oklahoma right now. And this is, again, crossing over the Texas and Oklahoma border. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at right now. No other sort of things right now on Twitter in terms of videos or anything like that. We've only seen one, and it looks to be as of right now picking up some dust. So that's what we're looking at as of right now. And again, for those that are near Arkansas City, just to the north of Arkansas City, the rotation is strong again. So that storm, again, could produce a tornado at any time. Make sure you're seeking shelter. For those that are in Arkansas City, just south of Winfield, Silverdale, by the way, is included in that warning now, just southwest of Tillsdale. And again, that's the southern Kansas tornado warning storm. This one is in western Oklahoma. Again, we've already had a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust, by the way, 6 miles to the southeast of Wellington in Collingsworth County, Texas. And that was obviously confirmed from Mesonet. So already had a confirmed wind gust of 65 miles per hour with this storm, and it's also producing a considerable threat of damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and ping-pong ball-sized hail. Definitely have some severe weather ongoing with that storm again. This is a storm that has a confirmed tornado moving off to the east right now toward 30 and north of Hollis. So those in those areas, make sure you're sharing this with your friends. Anybody that lives in this area, Again, this is in western Oklahoma as of right now. Let's just make sure there's nothing else ongoing right now in terms of tornado warnings. We have one again near Arkansas City. That is not a confirmed tornado. We're going to be primarily focusing on this one as of right now. Again, this is producing a tornado right now. There is a tornado on the ground. So, yeah, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows, interior of your house. I know it's a pretty rural area. It will be getting closer to Hollis, which is a little bit more populated in terms of that regard. Here's a look at the velocities as of right now. Again, I'm pretty sure from what I've seen from other radars, or from at least radar scope, it shows the rotation's closer to Dodson as of right now. Go to radar scope to double check. The radar scope usually shows a bit more of the, a little bit better rotation. Also, there was hailstone sizes up to ½ inch in Winfield for those that are in Arkansas. Thank you, Jonathan, by the way, for the $1 super chat. Appreciate it. Welcome. The generous donation. All right, yeah, so what I'm seeing on radar as of right now in terms of where the rotation is again in this area here from what I've seen, and the latest radar update just kind of skewed that up. All right, let's go back to the reflectivity. Yeah, if there's a tornado, it's probably be located right around Dodson right now. That's kind of where we see that rotation. It's near Dodson, and it's moving off to the north. It looks like it's moving a bit more to the east-northeast as of right now. The tornado warning does include Hollis and Gold. I'm not sure if those areas will be really hit by this, but it still includes McKnight and McQueen, so those areas are still included in that tornado warning. But it looks like as of right now, where that tornado is currently confirmed is near Dodson in Texas. So again, it's right along the Texas and Oklahoma border. Those that are just joining in, again, let's move off to the northeast. You're close enough, you can chase multiple storms right now. There's a lot of storms out there. And obviously, we have a couple tornado warned storms right now. And we got plenty of storms right now producing golf ball sized hail and near Weatherford, right along and just north of Interstate 40. And obviously, we've got some other storms right now producing. There has been storms at some points producing tennis ball sized hail. So large hail is definitely going to be a possibility. We saw, I believe, large hail near Lakeview, just east of Lakeview in Texas as well, near Memphis. That's where it was confirmed. We actually had a... Okay, so this is pretty big and breaking at this point. About an hour ago, there was a report just 3 miles southeast of Memphis in Hall County, Texas. There was a hailstone report of 3.5 inches in diameter, so that's pretty close to grapefruit size. And that was confirmed by a spotter. Numerous vehicles have windshields busted out on US 287. So just southeast of Memphis, that is again breaking. We have numerous vehicles that have had windshields busted out. The measured approximately 20 minutes after the hail core went through this area. So this potentially was even larger than 3.5 inches. It could have been up to grapefruit sized. So we've seen some very large hail already with some of these storms. And again, I highly recommend for those that are just tuning in, inform your friends. Make sure they bring their car into the garage, or what you got to do, cover it over with something, because there is going to be a potential again for very large hail tonight. So just keep that in mind again for tonight. And again, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the stream. Again, we do live streams like this all the time, not just for Texas, but Oklahoma as well. So, and as well as Kansas. We even touched on Kansas a little bit as well. We have a tornado warning ongoing near Arkansas City. We'll go back to that pretty soon. If there is anything confirmed, as of right now, the winds with that storm in terms of rotation has remained fairly broad. And yeah, if there's a tornado with this storm, it's probably going to be located, and it's a bit, the radar site right now is kind of at a bad angle, but I would assume it's probably be somewhere near here, near Dodson right now. And the warning got reshaped, by the way, so it does not include Gold anymore. It does still include basically central and northern Hollis, and right along 30 again. And McQueen, I believe, is still included. Or no, McKnight is still included. So McKnight is still included in that warning. McQueen is no longer included in this tornado warning, but those two towns are currently included. Let me go to the Arkansas storm real quick on my radar scope. And rotation has still remained broad, but it's still definitely there. Again, if you're near Arkansas City or Winfield, you should be in shelter. Winfield, just make sure you're aware of that storm as it moves off to the northeast. But as of right now, north of Arkansas City should still be in shelter. Yeah, we've seen some very large hailstones tonight already, and that storm obviously proving that point. And we should get our next radar update here in a second. Let me go and take a look at Twitter again, see if we have anything new in terms of a tornado. All right, so what we've seen from a new report, tornado was actually, it was small. It obviously was rotating and picking up debris. What we've seen, somebody posted on Twitter that it seems to have dissipated at about 6:03 p.m. Central Time. That's what one of the spotters in the area said. So it might be dissipated. I would still be in shelter. The rotation definitely does not seem to be very defined anymore. It was not very defined for the last 5 minutes or so. So there's a possibility it's been weakened a little bit, but I'd still take it seriously if you're anywhere in this tornado warning. Again, that does include Hollis and as well as McKnight. And they'll eventually be going off to the northeast toward 30 and 9, the intersection there. We have a confirmed tornado as of right now. Could very well be weakening, but that's what we've seen as of right now. This is, again, pretty classic supercell what we're seeing. It's obviously attached to a few storms here. And here's your velocities. Okay, so this is a bit more defined from what was before, but it's broad. So this is where your rotation is as of right now. Again, wind's going away from the radar, going toward the radar. If there was a tornado, it would be located right about there, but broad rotation, it seems like, as of right now. Let's move off to the northeast, and that's kind of what we're looking at as of right now. That's where your rotation is. It's going to be rain wrapped, it looks like. And what I've seen from the videos of this tornado, it's been rain wrapped, so it's definitely hard to see, but that is where we've seen that rotation. It's right there. Again, that's going to be moving off to the northeast toward 30, and as well as pretty close to 9. That's kind of like the intersection there, moving off to the northeast. Tornado warning still ongoing, by the way, for Arkansas City. And for those, by the way, in Texas, we're going to go over this real quick as we have a little bit of time. Lakeview and Memphis still included in the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and as well as ping pong ball sized hail. That does also include areas like the Pulaski community. So those areas all included. Those 4 cities or 4 towns, I should say, on the left side of your screen, all included in that severe thunderstorm warning. Also, one off to the north of that is producing ping pong ball sized hail and up to damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. That is also including Wellington, Dodson, Ludi, as well as Quail. And also, there's a severe thunderstorm warning for those in far western Oklahoma as of right now, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and as well as the potential for ping pong ball sized hail exists with that storm. That storm is actually moving, it says as of right now, about 40 miles per hour. Not sure how accurate that is, but it's probably moving closer to about 30, 35. Maybe even a little bit lower than that. Jennifer said, anything for Dallas? Dallas will probably stay dry tonight. So anybody in North Texas, excluding like Wichita Falls or anywhere far northwestern North Texas, you'll stay dry. But those that are near, again, like Wichita Falls or Vernon, you might see some storms a little bit later tonight. So definitely make sure you're on alert in those areas. By the way, a couple of other severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing as we have some time. Again, there's potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and this might even be larger than $half size hail. That is going toward, this is currently in Allison right now, but it'll be going toward Radon, if I'm saying that name right. Probably not, but it's going off to the northeast as well. And those black shaded regions basically going to represent potentially very large hailstones. So that could actually be potentially as high as baseball size moving off to the northeast. We'll see if there's a update on that one. There's also another severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for those near Cheney, as well as Sweetwater, Strong City, Roll, and Dempsey. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, as well as $half sized hail possible with that storm. That's moving off to the northeast as of right now. And again, as well as Hammond, currently under that severe thunderstorm warning, as well as Custer City, as well as Thomas, all included in a very large severe thunderstorm warning for potential damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and as well as golf ball sized hail. That's moving off to the east as of right now. And that might be the storms that go toward Oklahoma City later tonight. We have a new tornado warning, though, for southern Kansas. And this is actually a new warning. So this storm's been rotating for a while. We'll go back to the Oklahoma storm in just a second. But Dexter is currently under that tornado warning. This is a extremely pronounced hook right now. We've already had a report of ping pong ball sized hail by a storm chaser at 6:06, which is about 6 minutes ago. This is a look at the rotation. And it's still definitely, it's moderate. It's not, tight, but this is a very strong hook right now. Very classic. You got your inflow right here. You got your hook. And again, if there's a tornado, it'll be located right about there. And that's moving off to the northeast right now, northeast of Arkansas City and west of Dexter. Yeah, that's a new tornado warning that was just issued. Other areas that might be included in this are, again, Arkansas City, Dexter, Maple City, as well as Strother Field Airport. Those areas all included in a new tornado warning for southern Kansas. And this is a very classic looking hook gecko that we see right now in this storm as of right now going off to the east-northeast. And we'll go back to that one here in a second. And we'll see if there's any new updates on this storm. And the Dodson, by the way, the Dodson tornado warning just got canceled. It was going for like 45 minutes, but that warning just got canceled. We still have a tornado warning ongoing for basically anywhere in Hollis and as well as McKnight in western Oklahoma. Again, here's where your rotation is. It's very broad. And it says it's an observed tornado as of right now, but as of right now, I'm not seeing anything that would indicate that there was a tornado on the ground as of now. There was obviously one earlier. We saw some videos there on Twitter of there being a tornado, but as of right now, it seems to be a bit broader. And after that, by the way, for those that are in Hollis, Gold, and Dodson, you're going to be getting hit by some damaging winds, potentially up to 70 miles per hour with this massive supercell that we're seeing very large hail with as well near Route 83 and north of Route 62. It's producing potentially hailstone sizes up to the size of ping pong, maybe even golf ball sized hail with that. And again, that's producing damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. I'm going to probably pay most attention right now to this Arkansas City storm right now in far southern Kansas. We're going to pay attention to this one more because this one has a very classic hook echo right now. All right, the warning, by the way, just expired there for the Arkansas City area. Arkansas City, by the way, if you're in the central portions of there, you are probably out of this warning at this point, but the main portion of the storm is off to your north and northeast. Here's a look at the velocities as of right now. Still moderately strong at this point. Could very well strengthen here in the next scan or two. At least at this point, we've seen pretty pronounced hook echo on this storm. Again, here's your hook going into the storm, inflow going into the storm, and yeah, if there's a tornado, it's going to be located right about there. So very classic supercell that we see here, just to the west of Dexter and south of Burden. And by the way, the severe thunderstorm watch just got extended. It might have been a little bit earlier, but this just got extended into portions east of Wichita, by the way. So just for those that are in this area, the severe thunderstorm watch just got extended. So it's expanded a little bit. Here's the latest radar update. Let me see if we got any new update on the velocities. And yeah, the rotation is still very well there. I mean, we can see there's some strong rotation. And yeah, that's definitely still some strong rotation right now. And it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, I think, as of right now. It's just north of Arkansas City, but it seems to be in a bit more of a fielded region, I would say. But it'll be going toward Dexter and just south of Winfield, by the way. So, yeah, this is southeast of Wichita that we're watching as of right now. Hey, if you have any questions or anything like that, make sure to leave them in the chat. Again, if you're new here, make sure to hit that like button. We're 7 likes away from 100. I would appreciate if you hit that like button. Let's help the stream out a lot. Here's a look at that rotation as of right now. And this is basically where you see the tight rotation. It's kind of hard to see. It kind of glitches out here, but that's where the tight rotation is as of right now. And again, that's moving off to the east-northeast or so, south of Winfield, north of Arkansas City. And the other tornado warning in Oklahoma as of right now, I believe the rotation has kind of started to weaken out. And this might be a tornado on the ground. This might. Correlation coefficient not picking up on too much, but this might actually be on the ground right now. From what I'm seeing, rotation is still there. It might be strong, though. We'll have to wait and see on the next scan. The scan right now on this radar, or any radars right now, is kind of glitched out, so. Hey, Gem Tree. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Welcome on in. How you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, there's a hook echo on this storm. This is in southern Kansas as of right now. It's moving off to the east-northeast. Thank you, Sewing. Appreciate it. Yeah. I was assuming so much. Probably some fields. Awesome. Cool. Good to hear. Good to hear. Again, we got a pretty classic supercell right now, just north of Arkansas City. That's going toward Dexter, eventually toward Burden and Cambridge. This is just south of Winfield. So, yeah, this is a storm to be watching very closely. For those that are in this area. Tornado warned storm moving off to the east-northeast. And what we've seen from the... we had a multi-vortex tornado, by the way, in Dodson, Texas. So that's kind of what we've seen, at least on Twitter. So there's definitely been a tornado. There was obviously a tornado there, as I kind of mentioned before. All right, here's the latest radar update. Again, we got a very pronounced inflow going into the storm. Yeah, it's moving off to the east-northeast right now. Go to the... Yeah, I mean, it's definitely strong rotation. Again, this would be where that tornado would be located. It's not going to be here. It's going to be obviously a bit closer up here to the north. That's where your potential tornado would be located if there was one on the ground right now. And that's moving off to the east-northeast. And again, the radar has, I don't think, updated with the velocity, so it might be a little bit behind here. We're seeing as of right now. So that was 6:18. So yeah, the radar is a little bit behind. But again, it would be basically in this hook. So with the next radar update, we should get them a bit more synchronized. But that's not synchronized as of right now. Hey Christian, how you doing? Welcome. How are you doing? Oh, we're only one like away from 100 likes. If you haven't already liked the live stream, hit that like button. I would appreciate it. It takes you 1 second. Let's help out the live stream a lot, though. Yeah, we got plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. We still got a tornado warning there in far western Oklahoma. That one will probably be canceled at some point pretty soon. The rotation is definitely not nearly as strong as it was before. So, good news there for those in western Arkansas. Hey, Level, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome back. How are you doing today? I'm going to put the hail thing up here. Let's see. As of right now, the hailstone size being estimated by radar is 2 inches. I would say it's probably closer to ping pong ball sized hail, but we still got a potential for ping pong ball sized hail, by the way, for those that are just southeast of Winfield and just west of Dexter. Definitely some large hail here in that area. And obviously we got our tornado possibility here that is going toward Dexter. So those in Dexter, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately away from windows. Interior of your house, lowest floor. Hey CC, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Let's look at the velocities again. So we should get our next radar update here in about a minute, if not maybe a little bit sooner. Yeah, it's moving off to the east-northeast right now. And this is all north of Arkansas City. This is in southern Kansas, southeast of Wichita right now. It's moving off to the east-northeast right now, going toward Dexter. Very pronounced hook as of right now. Thank you, Lucas, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome on in. Thank you. Get your support. And we should get our next radar update again here in a minute. And we'll go back to the other storms, by the way, here in a minute as well. The ones that are in Oklahoma. If this does not strengthen, at least in rotation, we'll take a look at the other storms producing some large hail here in a moment. There's obviously a lot of storms ongoing right now in Oklahoma. Fannin County will stay dry tonight, Sandra. Wow, look at this rotation. I mean, this is pretty strong rotation right here. We probably have a possible tornado on the ground. Correlation coefficient, not really picking up on much. That is a very strong rotation right now. Near, again, that's northeast of Arkansas City now. And west of Dexter. Tornado warning, by the way, for Oklahoma just canceled. So, for those that are in Oklahoma in that Hollis area, the warning has been canceled. You are free to leave your shelter. This rotation is pretty strong, though, right now. This is, again, kind of in between three locations. Winfield, Arkansas City, as well as Dexter. They're all in between this now, but this is, again, where your rotation is as of right now. Pretty strong rotation, again, heading off to the east-northeast. Reports of a rotating wall cloud. All right, let me look at this. Let me see if there's anything on Twitter. I don't see anything on Twitter yet. Go to Arkansas City and try that. Yeah, so what I'm seeing so far is that looks like there might be something. There's obviously rotation in the storm. But as of right now, what we see on radar, it does not seem to be a tornado on the ground yet. There might be one at any time, though. But what I'm seeing, I haven't seen anything that's actually at the ground on Twitter yet. Let's see. Yeah, so there's definitely, it looks like to be a wall cloud. So we have probably a rotating wall cloud right now with this storm. That's as of 25 minutes ago, though. But there has been a rotating wall cloud with this, so there definitely could be a tornado with the storm at any time. Again, this is a very pronounced hook. For those who are just joining us, we have a very pronounced hook echo right now west of Dexter. Now, with this environment, again, as I kind of mentioned before at the beginning of this forecast, the only storms that'll be rotating are the discrete supercells for the most part tonight. But the tornado threat's still low because the low-level jet and the low-level shear are all both weak. So we're not going to really see, I mean, other than this, I mean, we might see a couple of discrete supercells, but other than that, we're not really looking at a full-blown tornado threat tonight. We're only be seeing it with a couple of storms that develop. So it's going to be a very isolated risk. Again, it's like a 2% probability tonight, very low threat, but we definitely could see a tornado or two. So that's kind of the exception at this point, is this storm, for example. So no problem, Lucas. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, I have a lot of people that tune in from other people or other places outside of, you know, these locations. So do appreciate you tuning in. Do you think this will be the last tornado day for Texas for a little while? Not probably. No, there is actually another threat for tornado threat for tomorrow near Wichita Falls. Basically anywhere in southwestern Oklahoma and basically the panhandle of Texas, West Texas, portions of central Texas. A very low-end threat, but there's a tornado threat tomorrow as well. By the way, the latest radar update in terms of the rotation seems to be a bit more broad. still there. It's still like moderate. I would still put it in the moderate category, so it's definitely still moderate rotation. Scanago was much stronger, but again, there's a rotating wall cloud with this, so there's again a potential for this to develop into a tornado at any time. Moving off again to the east-northeast. Thank you, Pug. Appreciate it. Yeah, I do pronounce a lot of names wrong, but Arkansas City. Okay, thank you. You're in Winfield? Gotcha. Yeah, Winfield, it looks like you just got dodged by the storm, but it's moving again off to the, just to the south of you right now. All right, stay pretty much close attention to the storm as of right now. No other, I don't think there's any other cells right now producing any threats beyond considerable. I don't think there's any destructive supercells, so primarily focused on this storm right now. Again, tornado warned storm going toward Dexter right now. Moving off to the east-northeast. Okay. All right, let's go to the velocities again. I think the next radar update should be in about a minute. Or actually, it's coming in right now. We'll wait for the next radar update here. Get an idea of what's going on with the storm now. And looks like the tornado warning just got edited. Yeah, just okay. So now it does not include Arkansas City anymore. Winfield obviously wasn't included in it to begin with. It only includes Dexter and Maple City. Those are the two places now included in this warning. It no longer includes Arkansas City, which kind of was already obvious at the beginning of this. But next radar update just came in, I think. So yeah, again, we have very strong winds with this. Let's take a look at the winds. I mean, it says about 48. Usually it's an underestimate. And let me go to the storm relative velocities here. I don't think it's going to show anything different. Probably about 48. So it shows like a 67 spec there. Definitely could be up. Again, winds could be up to maybe 70, 80 miles per hour or something like this with the strong downdrafts that we're seeing with this sort of storm. So it's definitely a possibility. But latest on the hook as of right now, again, we have a pretty pronounced inflow notch going into the storm. Again, if there was a tornado, it would be located probably right about there. And that's, again, moving off to the east-northeast. They'll probably go toward Dexter. So those in Dexter, definitely make sure you're seeking shelter, again, immediately. Again, make sure to take those proper precautions tonight. Anyone in that severe thunderstorm watch, again, this watch is going to be ongoing until 10 o'clock tonight. We have several storms currently warned for not just a tornado warning, but we have plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings. Lots of large hail's been reported. We've seen as high as 3.5 inches in diameter so far. It goes all the way toward Lubbock, basically, and all the way back out to the northeast into southwest, or southeastern, excuse me, Kansas. So very large watch tonight. A lot of areas to watch tonight, but this is the primary storm as of right now. Here's the latest on the storm right now. We got a 626 radar update. And here's a look at the velocities. And again, this is where your rotation is as of right now, which seems to still be kind of moderately strong at this point. And again, that would probably actually, it looks to be rain wrapped now. So if there's a tornado, it would probably be rain wrapped. Again, that's kind of your area where that rotation is as of right now. And it's going basically toward Dexter right now. So those in Dexter, make sure you are, again, seeking shelter. And again, this does include Maple City as well, but Dexter definitely the main place in the path as of right now. Again, the rotation is still moderately strong, so we're watching the storm very closely. Again, it's moving off to the east-northeast. If you have any questions, again, about any of the weather ongoing right now, make sure to leave that in the chat. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button on the stream. I do appreciate your support. And again, this is the area included in that tornado warning. Tornado threat diminish? Probably not until, I mean, the tornado threat will probably still be ongoing until at least 7 to 8 o'clock. I would expect most of the tornado threat, if any, would be ongoing pretty much throughout the next couple of hours. It'll basically be peaked right about now. Tornado threat will be much lower, though, after now. So basically anytime after about 7:30, 8 o'clock, I would only expect maybe damaging winds and maybe some marginally large hail, potentially up to maybe ping pong ball sized hail with a storm or two. But all the threats should start to go down a little bit over the next few hours. Your town is flooded? Where are you? There are some flash flood warnings, by the way. Obviously, I'm mainly focusing on this tornado warning, but there are definitely a few flash flood warnings down there in Oklahoma as well as Texas. I think there was one in Texas, in the Panhandle. Yeah, there will be a chance for some storms, by the way. Again, severe weather will be possible again tomorrow and on Thursday, but the threat will be overall low. Hey, Gaten, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome on in. All right, let's go back to the velocities. We should get an next radar update here in just a moment. Again, this is look at the radar as of right now. That's your rotation. Still pretty, it's moderately strong, as I kind of mentioned before. So it's not strong, it's not tight, but it's definitely moderately strong. We're rotating for a while. We obviously have our classic hook right now. It'd be rain wrapped though, so it's a little bit different from a moment ago. And the storm would probably be rain wrapped at this point. That's your hook. The inflow has been a bit more cut off now because of the rain, but definitely could still see a tornado with this storm. Should get an next radar update here in about 15 seconds, it looks like. So coming in any moment. And let's see. All right, there we go. Next radar update still shows a possibly rain wrap situation. So if there's a tornado funnel cloud, anything like that, it'd be rain wrapped. Again, there was a wall cloud reported with this storm not too long ago. Here's a look at the velocities. Looks to be a bit more broad than just a moment ago. So winds going toward the radar, winds going away from the radar. Again, if there's a tornado, it's going to be located right there, which seems to be pretty broad at this point. So good news at this point in terms of, how, at least it's broad. There's also another little area of rotation, it looks like, possibly developing with this storm down here to the southeast of the main rotation that we've been watching for a while. And again, there's not been a confirmed tornado with the storm yet, but it definitely could happen at any time. And again, this is our main tornado warning as of right now. No other tornado warnings yet. There's a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing, and we also have dozens of hail reports in southern Kansas, so there's obviously a lot ongoing right now. There's a hail report, by the way, of golf ball sized hail in Winfield, which I don't even think this is anywhere close to where the hail core was, but apparently there's been already golf ball sized hail reported. Or just under golf ball sized hail, excuse me. So just under, it says about $half sized hail in here. So probably between $half ping pong ball sized hail in Cali, Kansas County. So there's again, new report there near Winfield. Thank you, Caden. I appreciate it. It should pop up here in a minute. So still here, Quentin. Awesome. Longview won't see anything tonight, Samurai. Longview will stay dry. Yeah, the main threat tonight's going to be across Oklahoma, southern Kansas, as well as the panhandle of Texas. Those are the main areas tonight that we're seeing severe weather. And we are ongoing tornado warning for those that are in southern Kansas. Again, this is just to the southeast of Wichita. Again, we have a couple of areas of rotation now, a couple of areas of interest, really, at this point. Again, they're both pretty broad as of right now, but again, those are going to be going toward Dexter. So those in Dexter, make sure, again, you're seeking shelter. Anywhere in this warning, in fact, you should be seeking shelter away from windows, interior room of your house or building. Lowest floor possible, what we're looking for at this point in terms of staying safe with this sort of storm. Obviously, we got severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for those that are east of Wichita, and as right now we're looking out to the north. But we'll eventually go back down to the south for Oklahoma as well as the eastern panhandle of Texas here momentarily. See what happens with the storm over the next couple of scans. We're going to be watching this one pretty closely for you. It's been rotating for a while. There's been a report of a wall cloud, so we definitely have potential for a tornado at any time with this storm. And let's see when the next radar update's going to come in. Next radar update should be in here in about 30 to 35 seconds. So stay tuned. See if anything changes with this storm. Next 30 seconds or so. It's going right toward Dexter. And the next radar update's coming in here right about now. All right, there we go. So next radar update still shows, we still have a bit of a hook here. We actually kind of have a new hook kind of developing. The first one kind of went away. Second one's here now. Let's go back to the velocities. And that's kind of where we're looking for a new rotation. So a new area of rotation is just developed to the west of Dexter. So that's a new area of rotation just developed. The old one is now back out here to the west. This is weakening, so that's a good sign there. So this one pretty much irrelevant at this point. But this is the more relevant one because this is now the new rotation. It's in a pretty favorable area now of the storm, kind of near the hook. So here's your hook again. Inflow going into the storm. Again, if there's a tornado, it's going to be located right about there where that circle is. So this small circle. Inflow, hook. Now we're looking at this point. So again, the rotation's back. It's not, obviously it's back. So those that are just west of Dexter, again, should not be getting outside or whatever. Make sure you're still in shelter. Again, it's a very dangerous storm, not just in terms of hail, but as well as, again, some damaging winds. And not just that, but a tornado threat still exists with this storm as it moves off to the east. By the way, we got some very strong winds right now going toward Hollis. So those in far western Oklahoma, we're going to hop to that storm real quick, and we'll go back to this storm in about 30 seconds. But this storm, by the way, in Hollis is a destructive supercell. So western Oklahoma has a destructive supercell, producing potentially tennis ball-sized hail, and as well as damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. What I saw on radar looks to be higher than 70, though. And you can see it on radar here, potentially really high. It might even be maybe a microburst. It looks to be glitched here on the radar for right now, but there's definitely winds up to potentially 70 miles per hour with the storm. We're seeing some specks here and there, definitely potentially up to 70 miles per hour with this supercell. And again, large hail up the size of tennis balls is going to be possible as this moves out to the east. Again, that includes basically Dodson. Those in Dodson definitely going to see this possibly. A tornado is possible, by the way, with this storm. So it is labeled on this warning. So there's a tornado possibility with this new storm, a very large supercell, very destructive supercell. Again, moving off to the east. And again, that is including potential for damage winds up to 70 miles per hour and tennis ball sized hail. And that's for Hollis, Gold, and McKnight. We'll be going back to that storm here in a minute. And obviously we got some other ones there in Oklahoma. We're going to be mainly focusing on the tornado warning for right now. We'll see if there's any new update here. We should get our next radar update here. Actually, we just got it. So this is the latest radar update on this tornado warning storm. Again, that's going toward Dexter. And rotation is right about here. So it looks pretty broad as of right now. It could very well strengthen again. And again, you can see our inflow notch right here going into the storm. Or into the, excuse me, right here. So it's going toward there. And again, here's your hook. There's a tornado. It's going to be located there. It's still fairly broad rotation, though. Could very well strengthen. Again, this has been a storm that's been up and down in terms of rotation. So could definitely see a tornado at some point. As of right now, there's no confirmation of a tornado that's been warned for at least an hour now. So we haven't seen anything yet in terms of that. Sounds good, sign. No problem. Thank you, by the way, Brooke, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. As well as Caden. Appreciate you subscribing. Welcome. This is the main storm we're watching, a tornado warning storm, again, near Dexter, and this is moving off to the east-northeast. We also have a very destructive supercell near Hollis in far western and southwestern Oklahoma, so we'll go back to that storm pretty soon. We'll be focusing on this storm. If you're just tuning in, if you have any questions, always make sure to leave them in chat. Yeah, we're pretty interactive stream here. Keep me updated again throughout the evening. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, by the way. That takes 2 seconds. It really helps my page out a lot. I really would appreciate it. We do live streams like this all the time, not just for Texas, but we also do them for Oklahoma as well as South Kansas. I was going to look something up. I can't remember. Let me see if there's anything new on this storm. So I'm going to go to the Twitter, see if there's anything. As of right now, again, this is going to be a rain wrap situation from what I'm seeing. Again, it's been rain wrap for a while. The new area of rotation, though, is, again, not nearly as rain wrapped as the first one. This is kind of where the area is, so it's not nearly as rain wrapped if you're looking at from the southeastern end. But definitely, again, if you're in a house or anything like that, just seek shelter. Don't try to look out your window for a tornado. It's probably rain wrapped, so it's not worth it anyways. Don't wait till the last second either if you're seeking shelter. It's moving over toward Dexter right now. It'll eventually go toward Burden, just south of Burden, as well as Cambridge. I do not, Tyler. I am Robbie. All right, sounds good, Molly. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll remember that, but I'll try to refer it if you have any questions and anything like that. I'll try to hopefully remember. I'm not great with remembering names. All right, latest radar update. Again, still showing a bit of a hook here. Not nearly as pronounced as before. We'll get a next radar update. Actually, we just got our latest radar update. So there's still some rotation. It's a little bit stronger than before. And it's definitely still trying to strengthen. Again, moving up to the... It looks like it's kind of going a bit more east-northeast. I keep putting my lineup going northeast, but it's going a bit more east-northeast. So probably going toward Dexter. So those in Dexter, again, make sure that you are seeking shelter if you haven't already. And latest radar update still showing some broad rotation there. But again, if there's a tornado, it's going to be located right about there. So we'll be watching the storm very closely for, again, this is the tornado warned storm in southern Kansas. Yeah, I know on certain platforms it'll like translate names for you, but I don't think YouTube does. All right, let's see. Rose Hill, Kansas. So that's near Wichita. Looks to be right now you're seeing some strong severe storms. Most of it's just damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and $half sized hail. So as of right now, we're not looking at anything beyond that. Robbie, I have my own channel, so this is basically my channel. You will. It's a YouTube channel, so I can kind of go by that. Any reports of tornadoes so far? We have not had any. We've had one tornado, actually. Yeah, we've had one. It was in, I think, Dodson, Texas. It was basically right along the Oklahoma and Texas border. That's where it was, just next to Dodson. So there was a confirmed tornado a little while ago. By the way, we do have a flash flood warning for those in Kansas City, Winfield, Cadwell, South Haven, as well as Perth, and as well as Strother Field Airport. New flash flood warning there. So obviously there's a lot of rain there already. I think they've already seen 3 inches of rain, more to come. So obviously there will be a flash flooding potential with all these storms tonight because they're moving so slow and there's a lot of them. So unfortunately, we're going to be looking at a pretty significant situation in terms of flash flooding with these storms as well. And it's moving off to the east right now. We'll get that next radar update here in just a moment. We'll also go back to the Oklahoma destructive supercell in a moment as well. It is going to be entering toward Hollis here pretty shortly, so we'll get a bit more details on that here in just a moment as well. So, thank you, Sherry, Jonathan, Molly, Dawn, as well as Laura for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. Thank you. All right, here's our latest radar update. We got a new little update. So again, there's still a hook there. It's definitely there. We still have inflow into the storm. I don't know if the rotation has strengthened at all here in the last scan. We're gonna take a look. And it's still there. I mean, the rotation's there. It still seems to be fairly broad, in my opinion. I don't think, as of right now, we're going to see a tornado within the next, like, minute or two. But I would, again, make sure you're in shelter if you're in Dexter. Definitely be a storm to watch. It might start rotating again at any point. So definitely going to be something to watch there. All right, let's go back down to the southwest real quick. Obviously, we have a destructive supercell there in Oklahoma. This is near Hollis and Gold. And this has been a bit of a quicker moving storm. There's also a tornado possibility, by the way, with this storm. So it's a possibility we see a tornado with this storm. It has been labeled on the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, the winds are potentially as high as 70 miles per hour. I would not rule out it's a little bit higher than that, though. I've seen winds being estimated by radar above 70. So there's a possibility we could see a very destructive microburst or something like that with this storm. Again, the main hail core as of right now is back out here to the west. It's going into Oklahoma as of right now, just southeast of Dodson. And again, that's moving toward Hollis and eventually toward Gold. Other areas included in this warning, by the way, does include McKnight as well. So again, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and again, might be up to 80, and as well as potential for tennis ball sized hail. Here's a look at the velocities, by the way, in terms of what to see. I mean, it's just a bunch of colors mixed together as of right now, but as of right now, there's again a tornado threat with possibility with this storm as it moves off to the east. Very dangerous, destructive supercell again, moving off to the east right now toward Gold. Hollis is already seeing the winds, by the way. The winds are actually fairly strong in this location, so there is definitely some strong winds right now near Hollis. We again also have a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing in the panhandle of Texas. We have a couple of them, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, as well as ping pong ball sized hail for Memphis, as well as, let's see, Lakeview as well as included in that, as well as Bryce. That's the other severe thunderstorm warning there that is north of Turkey. There's also a new severe thunderstorm warning near Artulia. This is actually outside of the severe thunderstorm watch. We're going to go to these real quick as well. This is also considerable threat, so damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail possible with this storm. This storm actually seems to be pretty discreet. We could actually see a tornado threat with this if it could kind of stay discreet. I don't think it will, but near Tulia, just south of Happy. Again, this is in between Amarillo and Lubbock, and that's a new warning again. That's as well as Vigo Park. Those areas saw some pretty bad storms a couple of weeks ago too. So those are our warnings as of right now. We also got some in Oklahoma. I'm going to go to the ones that are closer to Weatherford right now in Elk City. And then we'll go back to the tornado warning here in just a second. Clinton is also included in that warning. So again, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and hen egg sized hail possible here. We've had a bunch of reports with these storms. There's already been a report. This is about 2 hours ago, but there was baseball sized hail a little while ago with this sort of storm near Custer. So there's obviously been some pretty significant weather with that storm as well. Let me see if there's a radar site over here that we can take a look at. This is probably the closest one, I'm guessing. That's going to be going toward, let's go into a quick look at this one. So VC, Camargo, those areas included in the potential. All right, so we got another considerable severe thunderstorm warning. We have a bunch of these. Damaging winds, again, up to 70 miles or 60 miles per hour, excuse me, as well as the potential for up to golf ball sized hail. It has been confirmed already with this storm that there's golf ball sized hail. That is why there is a warning for that as of right now. This is moving northeast at about 45 miles per hour. This is a quicker moving storm. Again, the Camargo area, Sharon, Mutual, Crawford, Roll, and I'm going to pronounce the last one. Those areas are included. Again, you can go to the left side of your screen if you have to take a picture of this at any point. Again, pause the screen if you need to. That's moving off to the northeast as well. And that's, as of right now, we're looking at in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings. There's also some in Oklahoma, and as well as Kansas, excuse me. Let's go back to the tornado warning storm. I'm going to go to the Wichita Falls radar. It's been the more handy one at this point for this tornado warning storm. See if there's any new updates with this one, and kind of get an idea of what the rotation looks like now. And the rotation radar just updated, it looks like. So as of right now, still broad rotation. Again, that's just west of Dexter. This was the radar update from about a minute ago. So, and again, you can see the inflow going into the storm. Your hook. Yeah, if there's a tornado, it's going to be located right about there, just northwest of Dexter. And again, you should be in shelter regardless, because there could be a tornado at any time. We've had several reports of a wall cloud with that storm, so it's definitely a possibility. Again, the hail reports across portions of southern Kansas. We've seen baseball-sized hail reported in Belle Plaine in Sumner County, Kansas. Also seen some ping pong ball sized hail there. We've seen a bunch of hail reports here. We've also seen baseball sized hail reported near El Dorado about an hour ago. More quarter sized hail reports. We've seen a bunch of hail reports with these storms. So good amount of storm spotters out there as of right now. Hey Alex, how you doing? Welcome. I'm doing well. How about you? I'm doing pretty good. A busy evening so far. A lot of warnings out there as of right now. We're really focusing on the tornado warning as of right now, again, near Dexter, but we'll be kind of going between all the other warnings as well. Again, if you have any questions about any of the warnings, need more clarification, if you want me to kind of pay attention a bit more to a different storm, feel free to let me know at any point. Again, it's a pretty interactive stream, so don't be shy. Again, if you're new here, make sure to hit that red button down below and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It does help the page out a lot. Again, we do live streams like this all the time, not just for North Texas, but we also do other places as well. The name is a little bit misleading at this point because it's kind of not really accurate anymore. I've been considering changing my name to something else, but haven't really yet. Can't figure out a new name. Again, this is just northwest of Dexter. Tornado warning still ongoing there. Let me go back down to the southwest. We'll get a new update on that radar in a moment. New warning was just issued for those in western central Oklahoma, so again just west of Oklahoma City by about 50-60 miles, basically right along in north of Interstate 40. New warning was just issued for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and as well as NTXWC hail. So that's again those areas there for Thomas, Weatherford, Clinton, as well as Hydro, Custer City, Butler, Foss, Bridgeport, Foss Reservoir, I don't know why I just said the name, and as well as Fay and Stafford. Those areas are included in a new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, those are just along and north of Interstate 40. I also had a damaging wind report a couple hours ago, went over that a while ago. It's also again been baseball size hail there, so we've gone over those two. See if there's any new reports with any of these storms, and we're going back down to this storm. It looks like there might be some rotation here near Hollis. This storm's been having very large hail, by the way. Tennis ball sized hail has been ongoing with this storm. Go and take a look here at the velocity, or yeah, the velocities here, and doesn't seem to be anything that, I mean, there's again a possibility for a tornado with this storm, and if there was any tornado threat, it would basically be along this area here. But this is not rotation, that's just radar indicated, which usually isn't that accurate. But again, this is a very destructive supercell tennis ball size hail still gonna be possible with this storm as it moves off to the east northeast, and again, it's gonna be going through Gold as well. We have seen some very significant damaging winds with this storm here over the last several minutes. A lot of glitch particles here, but we've seen damaging winds as of right now that it's potentially as high as 60-70 miles per hour. So it was at one point as high as 80, so we definitely could see that as well. And we got plenty of storms ongoing as well as in the panhandle of Texas. Those have been just beginning. Let's go back to the Arkansas, the Kansas tornado warning. Let's go take a look at this and see if there's anything new. This is near Dexter again. 645. Let's go back to the velocities, and it seems to be weakening out. Seems like good news at this point. Again, stay in shelter, but I don't think this is going to be probably developing into much at this point. Again, it's just near Dexter. The only city or town I should say is included in this right now is Dexter. So those in Dexter, again, just south of Burden and Cambridge, currently included in that tornado warning. Only place included in that warning as of right now. But it should be probably, it looks like that, I mean, it has a pretty pronounced hook. It has had a hook, by the way, for like an hour now, but it's just not really developed into much. Again, the environment has very weak low-level shear, and as well as very weak low-level jet, so we're not really looking at too much in terms of that department at this point. So that's what we're looking at as of right now. Lift my chair up a little bit. There we go. That should help a little bit. All right. Again, we have a destructive supercell. We're going to be focusing on this one a bit more. We also have a tornado warning again in southern Kansas, excuse me. But we're going to be focusing more on this one right now. That storm has been just broadly rotating at this point. We'll go back to it if anything does change, but again, we have a destructive supercell producing potentially tennis ball sized hail there in western Oklahoma. This is near Hollis and Gold, so those in those areas, make sure that you are aware of this situation. Again, this is going off to the east. It'll go right along Route 62 basically, off to the east, so just keep that in mind. Again, this is a storm that's producing very large hail. Tennis ball sized hail has been a threat with this storm for a while now. Here's a look at the estimated hailstone sizes, and what's being estimated by radar as of right now is basically anywhere up to potentially grapefruit size, but I don't think it's that high. Sometimes the radar does overestimate that sort of stuff. The radar is not always the most accurate, I should say, in terms of estimating hail, but this is a bit more accurate. This is the MRMS tool. Sometimes it's a bit more accurate. And here's a look at that. So it has actually had some hail, probably at least at the size of potentially grapefruit, right along 62 at one point. As of right now, it seems to be basically around baseball, between baseball and tennis ball sized hail. So it seems to be what it is as of right now. It's being estimated by radar as of right now. Again, moving off to the east. We've already had, by the way, for those that are just joining us, there was very destructive hail, by the way, reported just south of Memphis. We had a report of several windshields broken a couple of hours ago. This was with a hail report there near Memphis. So there's also been some very destructive hail. Again, if you're driving, make sure you're being safe, staying away from these severe thunderstorms because they are producing some fairly large hail. If you need to, just make sure you're getting home in a timely manner tonight because there's obviously going to be some large hail. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. This is a huge one for El Dorado, as well as Elmer and Altus and Duke. These areas are now included in the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and as well as tennis ball sized hail. New warning there. So make sure that you are taking your car into your garage for those that are basically right along and just north of the Oklahoma and Texas border. Lawton, Oklahoma definitely could see something tonight. Victoria, definitely possible. I mean, this storm is basically going right in your path, so you definitely could see something tonight. It probably will be at least another 2 to 3 hours, though, until you see anything. And again, if you do have any other questions, anybody in chat, if you have any questions about anything timing-wise or anything like that, you can go ahead and let me know in chat. Again, we're kind of going over the severe weather here for a little bit. We had a hail report, by the way, in Hollis of a golf ball-sized hail just a moment ago. And the rotation, by the way, with the storm has been pretty much broad as well. Obviously, there is a possibility that a tornado does happen with the storm at some point, but it seems to be pretty messy at this point. We're not seeing anything that's going to indicate that we'd see a tornado in the short term. So, good news there. Off to the east again, going toward Duke and Martha and Blair. Just a bit more of a wide view at it. Again, we have many severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, most of them in western Oklahoma. We also got some in the Panhandle right now. And again, all these are moving off to the northeast for the most part. Got a few of them moving east. Again, the one that's near Dexter right now, still tornado warned. Go back to this real quick, see if anything's changed since I last looked, but I don't think anything has. And here's a look at the velocities. That's not the velocities, just glitched out. All right, so again, here we go. Yeah, it's still very broad. I mean, we're not looking at anything that strong. Again, there could be a possibility for a tornado at some point, but as of right now, rotations remain very broad there near Dexter. So good news there. But otherwise, we see a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, many of them producing very large hail and damaging winds. Our main storm is going toward Altus right now and moving out to the east. Again, this is in southwestern Oklahoma, a very dangerous storm right now that's producing some very large hailstones. Yeah, I got you, Ducky. I don't know. I've never even heard of AWIPS. I've never heard of that. I've never looked into many softwares. I just use this one. So, yeah, family and Lawton. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I know a lot of people are watching for family and whatnot. Obviously, very good for you because obviously some people might not be aware of this sort of situation. We got a lot of severe weather out there. Again, it's all across Oklahoma, and we will see a threat for severe weather across a lot of western and again central Oklahoma a little bit later tonight. Even if it's not happening right now, you might see something a little bit later. So, let me make sure that you are staying aware of that. Ducky, if you want to know what the software is, just email me at the link. The email's in the description, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. I can send you a link. All right, for those that are just joining us, again, we have several severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. I'm going to kind of go through all of them again. I'll go from west to northeast. That'll be kind of our pattern here. We got a few over here in the Panhandle, by the way. We're going to kind of go over these real quick. I've got one near Tulia right now. Again, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail ongoing with this storm. And this might even be producing larger hail than that. You can see there's a lot of black there, which usually represents typically at least 2-inch in diameter hail, if not larger. And that's just east of Tulia. That's just east of Interstate 26 as well. We also got a couple of severe storms back out here to the west that are producing potentially damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and as well as ping pong ball sized hail. That's for Happy as of right now. That's the main location included in that storm. Also got some more severe thunderstorms back out near Memphis, Lakeview, and as well as Bryce. Those areas are included for the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and as well as ping pong ball sized hail. But again, we got our main supercell right now that's been producing some very large hail and also very high damaging winds near Hollis and Gold. That also now is a new warning for those that are just joining. So Briar, Altus, Duke, El Dorado, Elmer, those areas all included in this warning, as well as Martha. Again, that's for the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and as well as the potential for tennis ball-sized hail. So we have very large hail with this storm as well. Altus Air Force Base is also included in that, as well as Humphreys, Hester, McQueen, McKnight, and Hess. So those are the other areas included in that warning as of right now. Back out to the north, we also got another severe thunderstorm warning right now for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and as well as NTXWC hail near Thomas, Weatherford, Clinton, as well as Bridgeport. Those are the main areas right now included, basically just along and north of Interstate 40 right now. And that's moving off to the east as of right now. Again, it's going toward Greenfield, Gary, and as well as Watonga. So those areas will be in the next path for that. We also got another severe thunderstorm warning back out in western Oklahoma. This is producing damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and also golf ball sized hail for Camargo as well as VC. So that's another warning there, producing some fairly large hail. And again, we have a tornado warning in southern Kansas. This one has been, it's probably going to be let to expire at this point. Rotation's been broad for a while. We do have a warning, though, ongoing for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and $half sized hail. And this storm back out here near South Haven, by the way, basically just along Interstate 35, is starting to get a bit of a hook here. Let's take a look at the rotation. Not sure if it's rotating yet. That's the rotate. I mean, it's definitely it's trying to rotate right now. So this will be another storm to watch there near South Haven. But again, this storm out here that is near Dexter, rotation has remained fairly broad. You can see definitely some strong winds, but I don't think the rotation's been weakening for a while now. And we got a few other storms, by the way, going up into areas closer to central Kansas as well, near Cotton Falls, Matfield Green, and as well as closer to areas in between the Interstate 335 and 35 intersections there as well. So those are our main warnings as of right now. We got a new tornado warning, by the way, for the storm that is west of Altus. So there's now a new tornado warning for those in gold. That's the only city or anywhere included right now in this tornado warning. This is now a new tornado warning. And I'm guessing that this is the area that we're looking at as of right now. That's very tight rotation, I can say that. Correlation coefficient, not really picking up on much, more of the hail more than anything, but there is now a tornado warning for those that are in western Oklahoma. I just hit my mic. Apologize. By the way, April, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. If you're new here, by the way, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can ask as many questions as you want in chat about weather and whatnot. It's very interactive chat and whatnot, so if you have any questions, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And again, we do live streams like this all the time. Okie, you won't see anything tonight. Sherman and Whitewright, not going to see anything tonight. This is mainly for Oklahoma and as well as the Panhandle of Texas. If you're like Wichita Falls, you might see some storms as well. But again, there's a new tornado warning for those in gold. This is in western Oklahoma as of right now. And again, it's just north of Gold, northeast of Hollis, off to the northwest of Duke, all north of Route 62. New tornado warning again. And this is where your rotation is. I'm guessing this is probably where there might even be a tornado right now. And that's, again, moving off to the northeast as of right now. And that is going to probably go through a pretty rural area up until about 9 here, a bit more of a populated road. Again, there's probably a tornado with this. It looks to be, yeah, there's probably, that's fairly strong rotation. I would almost go ahead and say there is probably a tornado on the ground right now. Not much showing up on the correlation coefficient. Again, if this is a bit more rural area, which I'm guessing it is, there probably isn't much in terms of, debris other than maybe some dirt. So that's kind of what we're looking at. There might be even a tornado on the ground right now. Again, this is north of Gold, moving off to the northeast and western Oklahoma. And again, not just this threat being a tornado, but there's also tennis ball sized hail and damaging winds at 70 miles per hour. So we're definitely seeing a very strong storm here. As a storm chaser, where in Oklahoma would you drive for the most severe activity in the next 2 hours? I mean, are you talking about severe activity or tornadic activity? Bit of a difference there. But for the most part, you had to look for the initial storms and where there aren't storms already or where storms haven't hit. In most cases, which at this point, most of the storms that have produced anything in terms of severe weather, and they will probably be the main ones that produce stuff, will be down here in southwestern Oklahoma. There's also been some newly developments out here in like western, northern almost Oklahoma, so that is also an area. They're all pretty far away from like Oklahoma City and whatnot, so those are like the areas that we're watching for development. Tornadic, yeah, tornadic's a tricky one because we're not going to really see much of a tornado threat for the rest of the night. I think it's going to be like winding down after 8 o'clock. You only got about an hour. So, I mean, in the next 2 hours, again, this would probably be the main area where anything that becomes a screed. So, I mean, that's probably the main storm that we're watching as of right now. But I just don't expect it's not like a large scale tornado threat. We're only looking at maybe 1 to 2 tornado warnings. So. All right, the tornado warning, by the way, just got updated northeast of Hollis. Does no longer include Gold. It actually includes basically no locations, but this is a tornado possibility, again, in Oklahoma. We have had some strong rotation with this. The last couple of scans started to weaken it, so no problem, Little Win. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope your day's going well as well. Which way is the South Haven going? South Haven is going north, I believe, northeast. Yeah, if you have any photos, feel free to send them to my Instagram or Facebook page. They're all linked in the description below. I usually don't show them, but just for copyright reasons. But by the way, I got your email, Ducky. Appreciate you. I'll send it to you later when I'm not streaming. If you're still here. By the way, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Again, we do live streams like this all the time. We'll keep you updated again with this tornado warning. I do really appreciate for you subscribing. We do live streams again like this all the time, and I have plenty of videos. We're posting videos every day, so appreciate it. Again, the latest on this tornado warning for those in southwestern Oklahoma. The rotation's a little bit broader now, but the last scan, obviously, you saw it in the last couple of scans. It was very tight before, and then obviously the warning just got issued after that. There's the other scan there at about 6:52. And here's the latest. That was the second last scan, and then most recent scan showing a bit more broad activity. But we got a new tornado warning again that just got shrunk down. There's probably been a tornado with the storm, not confirmed, but there probably was one at some point. Had very tight rotation there for a few minutes there. Yeah, that's just northeast of Paulus. Moving off to the northeast. Radar update should be coming in here any moment. And here's a look at the radar as of right now. We got very large hail at the storm as well. Potentially, tennis ball sized hail. Still be a possibility with the storm as it moves off to the east. This portion of the storm that's tornado warned is moving up a bit more to the northeast. So just kind of keep that in mind. By the way, we're only 10 likes away from 150. If you haven't already hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. Helps out the stream a lot. It also helps more people be aware of this situation as well. So we're watching the storm very closely. This is in southwestern Oklahoma. We also have a tornado warning up in the Kansas tornado warning just got canceled, or got expired, excuse me. So that one's now expired. There's also a storm that was near South Haven in Kansas that has had some rotation. Been broad for a while, but it definitely could develop. That is a pretty pronounced hook there, so that definitely could happen as well. Keep that in mind there. And Weatherford storm as well, by the way, has had some rotation at times. It's been very broad. It's a very clustered storm, so I don't expect anything there. By the way, we have now a new report of power outage, by the way. That was near Hollis. So keep that in mind for those near Hollis and northwest of Gold. There's already been damage reports, at least a power outage is there. So that's probably from at least maybe the damaging winds, but it might have also been from this possible tornado that is moving off to the northeast. By the way, thank you, King Smoking, as well as Kun, hopefully I'm saying that name right. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. Also, Lotto Win, thank you for this $10 super chat. I really appreciate your generous donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate your compliment as well. Appreciate it. I do these live streams all the time, so obviously I'm going to be doing it pretty often. I'm hoping to do these, honestly, I'm probably hoping to do more live streams like this every time we have a severe weather event, anywhere in the southern plains over the next few months, and I hope to do that pretty much all year round. I'm basically expanding my live stream coverage to all the southern plains, so as well as parts of Kansas. But my page is technically still North Texas weather. I'm really been debating about changing my name, but I don't know what I'm going to change it to if I do. Because I probably won't change it to Texas Weather Center. I'll probably change it to something else. All right, latest radar scan showing a much weaker rotation now. That's northeast of Hollis, so good news there. But there's definitely, even if there's no rotation, the winds have been as high as 70 miles per hour. We've seen it as high as 80 actually over in Texas. But this storm is definitely producing still some fairly strong winds. Very large hail, tennis ball sized hail possible with any part of the storm. But it's a pretty large, widespread area of potentially large hail going toward Duke right now. But we'll watch this warning closely. It was a brief tornado, it looks like, if there was one. And obviously, that is moving off to the northeast, that tornado warned storm. Should get another, I mean, we might get a tornado warning down here in far southern Kansas, right here along Interstate 35. For those that are just tuning in, this storm has been producing a very strong hook here for a while. Has had some broad rotation, and this is a look at it. So just east of South Haven now. Rotation's been broad, but it definitely has a hook. I mean, if it can get some inflow, it might be able to develop. With what we saw with the storm near Dexter, I mean, it's kind of the same situation. The Dexter storm was tornado warned for a while. As of right now, the rotation's basically gone. I mean, it's there, but it's pretty weak. So, I mean, we could see a tornado warning. Will there be a tornado with that sort of storm? Maybe. It's probably it's a very low threat. But overall, at this point, any of the tornado threat up there in southern Kansas is probably be very low. The low-level jet up there is very weak. Very weak low-level shear as well, so we're not really looking at anything that's that pronounced in terms of the rotation. By the way, if you're just joining us, hit that subscribe button down below. We'd really appreciate it. We're pretty close to 3,500 subscribers, so I would like to hit that in this live stream. That'd be awesome. We're only 59 away. Is there a tornado outbreak today? No, this is not a tornado outbreak. Most of the tornado activity today will be brief and weak. This tornado warning that was near Hollis was a very brief tornado. If there was one, it was strong, so I would not doubt if there was a tornado. There probably was one northwest of Gold and northeast of Hollis. As of right now, the rotation I don't think is nearly as strong. And yeah, it's not nearly as strong as before, so it's fairly weak, actually. I mean, the rotation, again, if you go back a few scans, was much stronger here, back here near Hollis. This is the tightening of the rotation. Again, there's probably a tornado with this at some point, probably a brief one. There was power outages, as I mentioned before. We've already had some confirmation of some damage, so there was probably a tornado. If not, it might have been even just some very strong wind gusts, but I would go ahead and assume that there was a tornado. Hey, Christian, how you doing? How is it going today? All right, new tornado warning. Oh no, this is dated. I apologize. Yeah, refresh my radar here. We get the accurate data here up on the radar. Again, for those that are just joining us, even if you're not in that tornado warning, there is a potential for, again, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour in tennis ball sized hail for those in Gold, Duke, Altus, Blair, as well as El Dorado, Elmer, Hedrick. Those areas all included in the potential, again, for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour in tennis ball sized hail as it moves out to the east. And yeah, that's what we're looking at as of right now. No new tornado warnings yet, but this is the main one as of right now. We've also had reports. 65 mile per hour wind gust was reported a couple of hours ago near Wellington, but we have a new report at Dodson from that tornado. A few pieces were torn off a tin roof, and a couple of trees were down at 5:50 p.m. So that was from the tornado that we saw earlier that was observed. So keep that in mind. Christian, there's an enhanced risk of severe weather today across western Oklahoma. Is it tightening a bit from the original? Let me look. I don't think here. I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't see any other rotation. Again, a tornado possibility does exist, like east of Gold, for example. It could again, a very brief tornado could occur in this area, but the chances of that, again, are pretty low right now. But this is, again, kind of the favorable area for any brief and weak tornadoes would probably be in southwestern Oklahoma. We've already seen one. We've probably seen a second one as well, just northeast of Hollis. And yeah, I mean, even near Wichita, there's a possibility there as well. But let me take a look at the low-level jet. I think it might be updated. I'm going to take a look here on the software. This is the 700 millibar wind, which indicates the low-level jet. And actually, surprisingly enough, it's the strongest over here near Oklahoma City as of right now. 30 miles per hour. But even down here, it's still about 25. You can see like 20 to 25 miles per hour. So the low-level jet right now seems to be the strongest actually near Oklahoma City. Does that mean there will be a tornado there? I mean, there's a very low possibility of it. It's definitely a possibility, but yeah, the low-level jet's definitely there today. I don't know what the 850 millibar wind is right now. I don't think that matters too much, but yeah, it's basically about 20. It's pretty much all 20 around the board here. So yeah, it's kind of what we're looking at this point. And the low-level jet is actually a little bit stronger near Oklahoma City, which is quite interesting. Not by much, it's only by a few miles per hour. Large hail today. Yeah, large hail is going to be the main threat today. Up to, again, tennis ball, to maybe even up to grapefruit-sized hail is going to be possible today. Enjoying the show from Fort Worth, Texas? Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Better be in Fort Worth today than in these areas. Tightening a bit south of the original. Okay, I read that. Never mind. Yeah, I'll be watching this tornado warning pretty closely. Let me see if this warning has anything new on it. I'm going to see if any of these have a tornado possibility on any of them. Again, the storm that is near South Haven over in southern Kansas definitely has a possibility for a tornado. But we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, for those near Arkansas City and basically anywhere there off to the east of South Haven. This also has a tornado possibility now labeled on this warning. Includes 2 different storms once they pop up here on radar. And they just popped up and I just refreshed it. All right, it takes like 2 seconds. All right, there we go. Yeah, we have a couple of areas now that we're watching. Again, a tornado possibility does probably exist with either of these storms. Let's go and take a look at the velocities. This one here near Dexter still has had some broad rotation there. The storm here just east of South Haven has still had some broad rotation, so they could very well strengthen very briefly and produce a very small and weak tornado, but we've already seen a couple of tonight, so definitely not out of the question with these couple of storms. We have a little bit of a hook here, not very well pronounced. This one's a bit more pronounced. There's a bit more of an inflow here near South Haven. And again, this is in southern Kansas, so going toward Arkansas City. That's kind of the path as of right now. Arkansas City already had a tornado warning. and they're kind of in the path for another storm, it looks like there. By the way, tornado warning in southwestern Kansas just expired, or got canceled, excuse me. I keep saying expired. It just got canceled, so good news there. The main threat, it looks like as of right now, will be very large hail, again, up to tennis ball sized hail. Here's a look at the radar. As of right now, we have a lot of like rotation in this area here, east of Duke. And again, a tornado could develop in one of these areas, going toward Duke right now, but threat right now is pretty low, but it's definitely a possibility as it moves off to the east. Yeah, you can kind of see maybe a little bit of an inflow trying to develop here. Just to the east of Gold, going off to the east right now toward Duke. You're in Arkansas City. Yeah, Arkansas City's already had a storm, and it looks like you might have another storm coming your way. It's kind of that like rotation is kind of in your path again, so definitely a possibility there. Yeah, I'll be watching those storms closely again up to the north. We have plenty of flash flood warnings, by the way, going all across. Again, there's a couple in Texas. There's also a couple up there in northern Oklahoma, and as well as one in southern Kansas. So we have a lot of flash flood warnings ongoing. A lot of this rain is just going to keep falling and falling over the next several hours. We have several storms overlapping each other. So flash flooding risk is definitely there with these storms as well. Not just a tornado threat, but definitely a flash flooding threat as well. By the way, if you're just joining us, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe again. I would really appreciate if you subscribe. A great notification pops up on screen as well. And again, we do live streams like this all the time, so I would really appreciate your support in that regard. We do it for more than just North Texas, by the way. We also do it for as well as Oklahoma and as well as Kansas. So we do it for all of Texas, all of Oklahoma, as well as parts of Kansas as well. Are kind of included in our live stream coverage as of now. Also, we got some severe thunderstorm warnings still ongoing, by the way, over in the panhandle of Texas. And near Memphis, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail possible there. Childress might be next in line for those storms, by the way. Just northwest of Childress is where those storms are. Again, tennis ball sized hail, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. And a low end threat for a tornado still exists with this storm as it moves off to the east toward Duke, Martha, and Altus, as well as Blair. So those areas are included in that threat as well. And again, we have a storm near Weatherford right now, along and just north of Interstate 40, going toward Greenfield and Gary and Watonga. There's also a threat there of damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail. We got another storm up here to the northeast. And actually, I'm going to put a track on this storm. This one's going toward Oklahoma City. Let's put a track and see what we can get on this one in terms of when it might get to Oklahoma City tonight. Kind of going east, basically. So the track as of right now for this storm, again, this is going toward Oklahoma City. The track at this point, the timing, by the way, is at the bottom left of your screen. So you can see Gary right around 7:32, Hinton right around 7:40, El Reno right around 8:15, Yukon right around 8:34, Bethany 8:47, War Acres right around 8:48, The Village 8:53, Nichols Hills right around 8:53, and Edmond right around 8:58. Oklahoma City is projected to be right around 9 o'clock tonight for storms, as long as this storm goes in that kind of track and that timing. So just keep that in mind. Off to the east. Again, we got some quarter-sized hail. We've also had a report of hen-egg-sized hail as of 20 minutes ago in Custer County, Oklahoma. That's near Weatherford, by the way. So we have a new wind report, by the way, in Hollis, in Harmon County, Oklahoma. So that's near Hollis, just 7 miles southeast of Hollis. There was a report of a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust. There's been very strong winds with these storms, obviously. New update, by the way, on the radar. It shows only up to about baseball-sized hail, so a little bit lower than what it was just at in terms of the severe weather with this storm. So down to now to baseball-sized hail. Still very large hail, by the way. I mean, the difference between baseball-sized and tennis ball-sized hail is basically nothing. So still very destructive hail regardless. Now let's take a look wide view at this as of right now. And again, if you have any questions about any of the storms ongoing, any questions about later tonight, definitely make sure to leave them in the chat. Again, I'm pretty open to questions and whatnot. Can I turn off the Storm Prediction Center? What do you mean? Like, turn off? I don't really have I don't have the Storm Prediction Center on. Just the watch. That's the only thing that's issued by the Storm Prediction Center. Again, this storm still has a possibility for a tornado. Not warned at this point, but it definitely has a possibility. This is in far southwestern Oklahoma right now. And very strong. I mean, this is very, this is a very good possibility that something could potentially briefly develop there west of Duke. Again, it's a low end threat, but it's still definitely possible. My title still says tornado warning. Those that are just joining us, by the way, the tornado warning was northeast of Hollis. It is now expired, but that warning was producing actually a tornado. It probably did probably have a tornado at one point. All right, change the title. Hurricane Center, you can look at the latest hurricane video on my YouTube channel, and it gives you a bit more details. There's also a post on Facebook about it. So if you have any questions about that sort of stuff, make sure you go check out the post on Facebook, because it does have much more information about the ongoing tropic system. I might have a live stream sometime either tomorrow night or on Thursday about the tropics and a bit more on detail on what to expect with that storm. It'll probably be like 30 to 45 minutes. It'll be kind of more detailed on what to expect and whatnot for Florida. All right, let's see. All right, Sean, cool. Appreciate you tuning in. Do you see a strong rotation west of Altus? I can take a look. I don't think there was any. Take a look. Go for the Oklahoma City radar. You might be seeing strong rotation from like the radar that I'm looking at in the Frederick radar site, but the one in Oklahoma City is usually going to be, it's at a different angle. So yeah, rotation, if there was any, it's very broad. I don't see anything that's concerning at this point for that storm. Because the Frederick radar, if you look from the Frederick radar, it looks like it's tighter, I think. Well, actually, it doesn't look like it. Earlier it did, but yeah, you have to look at several radar sites usually to indicate, see if there's actually rotation in a thunderstorm. So. All right, let's see. Hey, Dom, how you doing? Welcome. Sorry, I missed your message. Your day's going well. All right, the severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, for Hollis just expired. The initial one, there's obviously still a warning ongoing there, as well as Gold. And again, going toward Duke, Martha, Blair, as well as Altus, all in the path for the potential for baseball-sized hail and damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. That's awesome, Smokey. Yeah, if you have any photos, definitely feel free to send them in. I won't probably post them, but I always enjoy looking at photos that are sent in. The storms seem to be circling around you. Where are you? I can't remember where you said you were from. Let's go back up to the north real quick. I'm going to go back up to southern Kansas real quick, just see if anything newly has developed here. We'll go back to Oklahoma here in a second. Yeah, we've seen ping pong ball size hail reported in several occasions here in southern Kansas. The radar's updating here now. There's obviously some rotation with a couple of these storms. That's why I'm checking up here real quick. And yeah, this storm is still producing, it still has a hook echo there. I mean, you can see the hook, but rotation is still broad. Definitely could develop though. And the storm near Dexter still producing some strong winds, but as of right now, does not seem to be a tornado threat at this point. There was ping pong ball sized hail reported, by the way, near Burden. So there was actually hail reported with that storm at the size of ping pong balls. Going back down to the south here. Near Altus, just off to the west of Altus right now. We got a very severe storm still producing up to baseball-sized hail moving off to the east. Yeah, if you're just joining us, make sure to hit that like button. We're only 35 likes away from 200. I would appreciate if you'll hit the like button. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe again to our YouTube channel. We do live streams like this all the time. I would really appreciate if you do subscribe. It means the world to me. We're almost at 3,500 subscribers, so getting close. Do appreciate your support. All right. Oh, sorry, I missed your question. Don't spam questions. Wait, you only posted it twice. All right, it's fine. Are the storms near Memphis? Wait, did you post it there? No, I guess not. Memphis, Texas, moving south. Yeah, these storms are actually moving a bit more east. They're kind of developing back out to the west. They're more moving east and northeast. These storms back out here near Memphis, so and just north of Childress. Those storms are moving a bit more to the northeast as of right now. Obviously, we got a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing near Happy and Tulia right now as well. Nothing as of right now, nothing near Lubbock. Nothing really in this area of Texas right now in central Texas. So that's good news so far for those areas, but they could very well see storms develop here pretty soon. I don't know what that means, Christian. Alrighty. Let me see if there's any new reports, by the way, with these storms. I don't know if there's been any reports in terms of damage or anything like that. Obviously, there was power outages reported near Hollis, which was associated with that tornado warning from a little while ago. But not sure if there's anything new. Let's see. So as of right now, what we've seen so far from people reporting, obviously there was a monster storm that went through Hollis, Oklahoma, not very long ago, only about 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. But as of right now, I haven't seen any reports of a tornado. So good news there. But there might have been. I mean, again, that's probably the National Weather Service will probably go survey that tomorrow. Give an idea if there's actually any sort of tornado threat, or if there was actually a tornado with that storm. We'll have to wait and see, though. Very well could be. We got several severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. Again, this is the main one we'll be watching as of right now. Damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. So it's baseball size tail. I'm going to go back to the velocity, see if there's anything new with this storm. I'm going to go from another radar site here. Let's go to the Oklahoma City radar site, see if there's any rotation from that angle. It seems to be a bit stronger when you look at the one from Frederick. But if you go from the Oklahoma City radar, it should be a bit broader. Duke. And loading in about a second here. There we go. Yeah, it's still broad rotation. Again, near Duke, there is still a possibility for a tornado with that storm. The rotation has remained broad so far, so but it's definitely a possibility still. Yeah, the tornado threat should be going down over the next hour, not up. So obviously good news there as well. Oh, you're in Blackwell, Oklahoma. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that area's definitely been seeing some storms going around you, it seems like. Yeah, northern Oklahoma, yeah. I don't think storms are real. I mean, the storms down to your southwest might come toward you later tonight, but I don't know if they'll survive that long at this point. Here's a look at the radar site from here. So, yeah, just some rain over to east, or west, I mean. And we got plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. I'm going to go back to the, I'm going to stay with the Frederick radar site for right now. Make it a bit easier. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, for those that are near Silverton, Mackenzie, as well as Vigo Park. Those areas include the potential for rain, so there's a good chance that there's some flash flooding still ongoing there. And again, storm going toward Childress right now. This is probably producing at least damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, if not potentially higher, as well as ping pong ball size tail. That's moving off to the east as of right now. And we got the storm ongoing again near Duke and Gold. Hollis, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, as well as baseball size tail. So again, another storm to watch there very closely as it moves off to the east. We're watching these storms very closely again. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Keep you updated again throughout the evening. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. I wasn't planning on going live for that long today, but it's been a bit of a longer live stream. In terms of today. Usually my live streams are like 6 hours long, but today's a bit of a different story. What storm am I talking about? I'm talking right now about the one in southwestern Oklahoma, so the one near Duke and Gold. That's the main storm as of right now that we've been watching for a while. I'll be kind of making sure you're saying more update on this storm, because this one's obviously the most dangerous of them all. Yeah, baseball size tail right now with this storm. Let's go to the hail radar. I haven't looked at that in a while. See what the radar is estimating in terms of hailstone sizes right now as it moves off to the east. It's again near Gold and Duke. So yeah, you can see the large hail again all along Route 62 right now. See the hailstone sizes up to basically baseball size. That's been estimated by radar. Again, near Hollis, it's possibly as high as tennis ball size hail. So there's been very large hail with this storm, obviously, and even down on the southern end of it, just west of El Dorado, there's also been near some quarter-sized hail. So yeah, there's some hail all along with the storm. The main hail core as of right now seems to be kind of going toward Duke. I can actually probably put a timing guide on here for you for those that are in the path of this. Yeah, hail core at least. Let's go and put a little track on here. Let me make sure this is, it says 48 miles per hour. Probably pretty accurate, actually. This storm's moving pretty quick. Let me put a track, though, on this storm for anyone that's in the path of it. I put a path on this, so about 45 or so we'll do that. So timing right here is on the left side of your screen. So Altus right around 7:43, Snyder 8:11, Mountain Park 8:12, India Homa right around 8:27, Cache right around 8:36, Lawton right around 8:54, Elgin right around 9:02, Fletcher 9:06, and Sterling 9:10. That is the path on the hail core as of right now. Again, it might not make it the full 2 hours, but it's at least to give you a timing guide on the main portion of this storm right now, moving off to the east. By the way, thank you, Pilot Guy, as well as Abraham, for subscribing here to our YouTube channel. I appreciate it. Welcome on. Thank you. Have a great night, Ducky. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a great rest of your night. I'll make sure to get back to your email, by the way, later, after the stream is over. It's the largest hail that we've seen so far. Let me take off the radar here real quick. See if there's been any other larger hailstone sizes anywhere. Again, this has been the main storm. It looks like there was actually as high as potentially a little bit, obviously I kind of showed this before, but there was actually possibly as high as seems like up to maybe grapefruit sized hail off to the west of Hollis before it crossed over near 62 here. 3.5 inches in diameter, pretty close to it. There's also been some very large hail here near Weatherford, potentially up to hen egg sized hail. The storm is warned for ping pong ball sized hail, so it might be a little bit lower now, but it has been up to potentially hen egg sized. It was at baseball sized hail a while ago. Obviously, there was golf ball sized hail reported with this storm. Seems to be more of like a quarter to maybe a $half size variety right now, moving off to the northeast, but it definitely could be as high as golf ball sized hail. Also near South Haven, there's been hen egg sized hail possibly. That's been estimated by radar. Again, radar estimates aren't always accurate, but they are usually pretty close to what it is actually on radar. Let me go back to the reflectivity here. We'll go to the southern Kansas storms real quick. Take a look and see what these have been rotating at all. Obviously, this is a tornado possibility still with these storms as labeled at least by the National Weather Service. So definitely could still be a tornado with one of these storms. There we go. All right, so yeah, we still got a little bit of a hook here west of Arkansas City. And it's still been broad rotation, very similar to what we saw with this other storm back out to the east. And this storm seems to be weakening in terms of that little hook there, going toward Granola right now. So yeah, we'll watch that storm going toward Arkansas City. But again, the low-level jet's pretty weak today, so not too concerned about that storm. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, going toward Oklahoma City, basically. It's just off to the west by about 40, 50 miles still. But new area included in a warning for those in Weatherford, Watauga, Hinton, Gary, Hydro, as well as Bridgeport, Greenfield, Cedar Lake, and Omega. Those areas are now included in the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour at quarter-sized hail. That is moving off to the east. So that is in the path there, off to the east there. Right along and just to the north of Interstate 40 is the main area where that hail has been present at this point. And that's a new warning. So that's moving off to the east. That'll eventually go toward Oklahoma City a little bit later tonight. These severe thunderstorm warnings, by the way, back out to the northwest. This is actually, I think, a new one here. I don't think it's that old. It's only, yeah, it's actually just got issued. So damaging winds up to 70 miles or 60 miles per hour, and as well as golf ball sized hail possible with this storm near Arnett, Fargo, Sharon, as well as Harmon. That is in far western Oklahoma. Again, it's moving off to the northeast. So that's another storm there. And as well as near VC, again, there's been a large hail threat up to the size of golf balls. That warning will expire in 4 minutes. That is basically going toward Mutual right now, and as well as Sharon within the next couple of minutes. So that warning might be extended into those areas pretty soon. Or maybe reissued, I should say. Back out to the west, by the way, we have a new damaging wind report, by the way, of 61 miles per hour as of 30 minutes ago near, again, in Harmon County, Oklahoma. So that was near 3 miles west of Gold. So, again, another damaging wind report. We've already seen a 65. We've seen a 61. This warning is ongoing for 60 or 70 mile per hour wind gusts, as well as potential for baseball-sized hail. Again, Duke is about to get hit by this storm. We've already seen hail up to the size of 3.5 inches today. So there's definitely a very good possibility that this storm could produce, again, up to baseball-sized hail as it moves off to the east. The warning expires in 3 minutes. It will likely be re-extended, by the way. So it will likely be reissued here in a moment for those in Altus, as well as Blair, Martha. Those areas are all the path of this storm as well. And again, if you're just joining us, we're only 10 likes away from 200. I would really appreciate if you hit that like button down below, and also make sure to subscribe again to our YouTube channel. Would really appreciate it. Really helps out the channel a lot. I think we're only 30 subscribers or so away from 3,500, so I would really appreciate it if we can maybe hit 3,500 tonight. That'd be really cool. Again, we do Oklahoma weather. We also do Texas weather. We really do all the Southern Plains weather. I got to change my name here on YouTube to something else because it doesn't really represent what it is. All right, let's go to the storm over here as well as in the panhandle of Texas real quick. This one looks to be pretty strong. We've had a golf ball sized hail report now as of about 40 minutes ago near Tulia. That's actually a new report, though. That's just popped up. Let's see what this storm is doing right now. Radar should load here in just a moment. And it is 1% from being loaded. Come on, let's go. There we go. All right, so let's look at this storm. So this is near Tulia, about in the panhandle of Texas. This moving east again, probably going to go toward Oklahoma, but this one has a little bit of a hook. I don't think it's really rotating though. Now it's not really rotating. Good news, but this was an area that had most of the interest in terms of a tornado threat. We've already seen at least one tornado, if not possibly a second one, in southwestern Oklahoma. So again, this was kind of the main area for tornado threat tonight. We've already seen again one tornado. We might see a second. We might have already saw a second one near Hollis. But as of right now, it's unconfirmed. But right now, it seems like the main threat for the rest of the evening, there's still going to be a tornado threat here in there, but I think the tornado threat is going to be diminishing over the next couple of hours. But again, main threat tonight is going to be large hail, so we're still looking at mainly up to baseball size for the rest of this evening. Damaging winds again up to 75 miles per hour, and also maybe a low-end tornado threat still existing tonight. And those, by the way, still in southern Kansas. There's still an ongoing threat for an isolated potential for a tornado at some point down the road as well with that storm that we've been watching as well pretty closely. It has a bit of a hook. I do appreciate the 200 likes. I really do appreciate you guys liking the live stream. Thank you so much. Again, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that. I would appreciate your support. We are very close to 3,500 subscribers. We're actually only 28 away, so I was actually off on that. But we're only 28 subscribers away from 3,500. All right, back to the storms again. We have had power outage reports again near Hollis from that tornado possibility earlier. It might have been a tornado, might have been damaging winds. We should be getting a new severe thunderstorm warning here any moment for those in southwestern Oklahoma near Altus and Elmer. These areas will probably all be included in a new warning briefly, so that should be getting issued here in a moment. Christian, that's my original name. My original name was Denton County Weather. That was for one single county. Then I went to North Texas Weather, and now I'm trying to make a new name for a bigger audience, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. By the way, thank you, Gore, Jen, Antonio, and as well as Jordan, all for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome on in. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support on subscribing. Thank you so much. All right, new warning should get issued here in a moment. Hasn't been issued yet, but should be getting one here in a second. We got a mesocyclone discussion going on. I'm going to take this off the screen because it just shows a bunch of dashed lines at this point. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. So should be flashing anymore. All right. Warning just expired. I'm guessing it's going to be getting reissued here any moment, but let's go back through the severe thunderstorm warnings again. And these are the other ones that'll be going to southwestern Oklahoma again in a moment for Memphis, Lakeview, and as well as Elistine, and as well as just northwest of Childress. This storm is producing all along at this point 70-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts, as well as ping-pong ball-sized hail. That's moving off to the east as well. And obviously, we have the one severe thunderstorm warning going toward Oklahoma City right now, and as well as El Reno, those areas, Bridgeport, Greenfield, about to get hit by the storm, as well as Hinton. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-sized hail possible with that storm. That storm's actually been weakening for the last little bit. We also have a considerable threat right now going towards Sharon. So those in far western Oklahoma has the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and golf ball-sized hail. That's going toward Fargo as well, and as well as Harmon and Arnett. Arnett's actually kind of out of it now, but those areas are included in that warning. Let's go back to southern Kansas as well. Take a look at these severe thunderstorm warnings down here. And again, if you have any questions about any of the weather ongoing, make sure to leave them in the chat. Again, we'll be kind of going through that stuff here throughout the stream and get the latest radar update here in a moment. Radar update's going to take a second to load here. I do apologize for the timing. But again, we have another severe thunderstorm warning, those just east of South Haven. That's for Gouda Springs. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and golf ball-sized hail possible there. We have another warning ongoing back out here to the east with a tornado possibility. So there's still a tornado possibility here out in southern Kansas with a storm that's moving off to the east. And I do apologize. It's taking forever to load for the radar, but it should have loaded in here in a second. Again, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and up to $half sized hail possible here. Welcome back, Rory. How you doing? Welcome back. You have your window open? There you go. All right, here's the radar. So a bit more of a look at it. This is kind of the storm that we've been watching for a while near Arkansas. Again, the low-level shear as well as the low-level jet have been fairly weak. So tornado threat seems to be pretty low. But, I mean, this is still rotating. I mean, near Arkansas City, again, that's been a rotating supercell for a while. All the way back from South Haven to now, it's still rotating. Definitely could produce a tornado threat at some point. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning has that label, a tornado possible. So it definitely could be a possibility that the storm gets tornado warned at some point as it moves out to the east. Definitely a possibility there. And here's the latest radar update. So, again, some rotation with this storm in southern Kansas. That's moving off to the east. Whoa, what just happened here? Yeah. So I got to refresh my radar again. And there we go. All right. So that's what we're looking at as of right now. And again, there's another warning up here near Wichita. Damaging winds up to, actually no damaging winds, mainly large hail, but the size of quarters will be possible with these storms. This is a very large warning, by the way, from Hillsboro, Peabody, as well as Valley Center, Newton, as well as Wichita and Augusta, all included in that. There's a very large warning there in southern Oklahoma, or southern Kansas, excuse me. All right, going back down to the storm down here to the south. You're gonna go storm chasing? It's not a bad idea. Yeah, I do apologize. I do talk fast sometimes. It's just kind of how I naturally speak. But yeah, I'll try to slow it down for you, Bluebird. I do apologize. All right, we got a new, by the way, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for those in southwestern Oklahoma. That, again, includes Gold, Altus, Blair, as well as El Dorado, Martha, Elmer, Friendship, Altus Air Force Base as well, Duke, Warren, Fargo, Humphreys, Odell, Hester, McQueen, and Hess are all included in a new severe thunderstorm warning down in southwestern Oklahoma. Now, damaging winds will only be possible up to 60 miles per hour. It's still a considerable threat, by the way, as well as hen egg-sized hail. So that's the new warning here. So a little bit lesser in terms of hailstone sizes, and as well as damaging winds a little bit lesser than before. That storm's been kind of in a little bit of a weakening stage over the last about 40 to 50 minutes, but it kind of peaked back here near Hollis. Obviously, it was producing very large hail there, as well as in the eastern panhandle of Texas. It was producing very large hail as well there. So that's what we're looking at right now. I don't do Canada weather, so I do apologize, but I usually don't look at Canada weather. But there is a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings up there, that's for sure. I didn't even know it showed severe thunderstorm warnings in general for Canada. I didn't know that. Usually I don't look at Canada weather, so I'll probably explain it. How's the next few days look? We have a possibility for severe weather again tomorrow, and another possibility on Thursday. So definitely gonna be something to watch. If you want more details, by the way, on the severe weather potential for tomorrow and Thursday, you can click the link that I just posted in chat. It'll give you a bit more of an idea. It's my latest forecast. Skip to about, I think, 2.5 minutes in or so, or 2 minutes in, and it'll give you more details on tomorrow and Thursday. And again, I'll have another forecast tonight giving you more details on the severe weather for both tomorrow and Thursday. There'll be another forecast tonight. So the only time I really check Canada is if there's any like tropical systems going through that area, but it's usually like near Nova Scotia. So thank you, Winnie, for the report. Appreciate it. Thank you. Missouri. I don't think anything's going on in Missouri right now in terms of severe weather. Kane. No problem, K6. Appreciate you tuning in. No problem at all. Again, if you have any questions, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You can ask as many questions as you want, weather related. Usually answer most of them. Wichita, Kansas right now is just seeing some large hail, so quarter-sized hail will be possible there near Wichita, Kansas. So, by the way, hopefully Bluebird's a little bit slower. I'm trying to talk a little bit slower for you. I know it's always been an issue I have. I know a lot of people don't like how fast I talk, but hopefully I'm kind of fixing it a little bit. I was talking pretty fast before. We got some pretty strong winds, by the way, near El Dorado. These are definitely, again, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour is going to be possible going toward El Dorado, as well as Duke. So, appreciate that, K6. Yeah, if you have subscribed, I know anybody talking in chat, it's subscribers only chat. So, yeah, if you subscribed and I missed it, I do apologize, but I do appreciate you subscribing. Sometimes it doesn't pop up on the feed. Take a bit more of a wide look at it. As of right now, no tornado warnings, but got plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. Again, one going toward Altus right now. Blair, Elmer, those areas all included. Again, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and hen egg-sized hail will be possible as the storm moves off to the east. So keep that in mind as it moves off to the east. Those in southwestern Oklahoma, definitely a possibility here over the next hour or two. Decaf coffee? I actually don't drink coffee. Might sound crazy to you, but I don't actually drink coffee. I drink, like, occasionally I'll get like a, something from Starbucks or something, but it's usually nothing too crazy. By the way, there's still a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for those in Memphis and Lakeview, Elistine, and just north and west of Childress. Damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail possible with this storm. Again, that's going to be moving off to the east. It also includes Bryce, by the way, but that area is kind of out of it now. We still got a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for those in Tulia, and that's also in the Panhandle, so near Vigo Park. That's also potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail as it moves off to the east. And we also have another severe thunderstorm warning just to the east of that for the McKenzie Reservoir. That's moving off to the east as well. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and ping pong ball sized hail possible there. And this storm has become very nasty here over the last scan near Altus. This actually might have some rotation trying to develop here. See the massive hail core just south of Gold right now. So definitely a very pronounced hail core right now, potentially producing very large hail. That actually might be a little bit larger than baseballs now. Or not baseballs, excuse me, hen eggs. So it might be actually up to baseball sized hail now. So definitely something to watch there as it moves off to the east. Let me see if we got any new reports here. Let's see if we have any new stuff about this warning here. I don't think there's anything new. Yeah, nothing new yet. Nope, nothing new yet. All right. When is the last F5 that I've covered? I've actually never covered a EF5 tornado before. I think the highest I've ever covered, well, it's definitely the highest. The highest I ever covered was an EF3 tornado. I've covered a few. I've covered actually several EF3 tornadoes. The last one, I believe, was the. Where is it again? I think it was near Vernon, right? It's like Lockett, that's what it is. Yeah, Lockett, the small town there. That was the last one I covered. I also covered the Jacksboro one. That was a couple months ago. So yeah, I've covered a few EF3s. I've never covered anything above it though. I don't think we've had anything recently above that. I usually don't live stream anything outside of Texas, but recently I've started to do more Oklahoma and Kansas. So I'm kind of expanding the live stream coverage area, if you will, as of recently. So, and that will obviously continue. I'm going to continue to do live streams outside of Texas. So at least on YouTube. On my Facebook page, I usually just do North Texas. Marcy, as of right now, no tornado warnings. We've had a couple as of recently. The one near Hollis expired about 20 minutes ago. We've already had at least one tornado, maybe two. This storm has also started to have a little bit of broad rotation, so we're watching it pretty closely. But as of right now, no tornado warnings, no. New tornado warning. Okay, as I literally said that. But this is actually up in Kansas. So this storm's been rotating for a while, and I can't click on this radar site. What's going on here? There we go. All right, we have a new tornado warning for those in Arkansas City. Unbelievable timing, by the way. That should be clipped. All right, we should get a... This is updating, by the way. But we have a new tornado warning. This is a radar-indicated rotation that is near Arkansas City. And this is pretty pronounced hook right now. But as of right now, the rotation is still remaining fairly broad, but it definitely could be developing here. Again, this is in far southern Kansas, so this is a new tornado warning. Again, it's moving off to the east toward Arkansas City. Arkansas City can be hit but this any moment, so I know I've had some viewers from Arkansas City here recently. Make sure you're seeking shelter. Again, away from windows, interior of your house. This could very well develop at any time, so definitely be something to watch very closely. Again, this is just southeast of Gouda Springs. This moving off to the east. This is now, yeah, this is the second one that we've seen now in southern Kansas. So second tornado warning now that we've seen actually in Arkansas City. Arkansas City's been in a tornado warning twice now tonight, so we've now seen two. This is, again, the second one. So, again, rotation has remained fairly broad so far. We have a very pronounced hook, though. You can see it here. This is a very pronounced hook. I mean, this is a very strong inflow here. Again, if there was a tornado, it would be located right about there, just west of Arkansas City. Very strong inflow. We got our hook right here, kind of going around the storm. And not just that, but there's also a flash flood warning there as well. So that will eventually go toward Dexter. Dexter's already been under a tornado warning too. This is now the second one in this region. Two completely different storms, by the way, but they've had pretty similar shapes. This one has a little bit more of a rain-wrapped sort of rotation. So here's the latest radar update. So again, here's your rotation right here. Tornado could be touching down at any time with this storm as it moves off to the east. And radar just updated. So this is the latest radar update. Again, pretty pronounced hook. If there is a tornado, it's likely rain-wrapped, so just northwest of Arkansas City. And again, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll keep you updated again throughout the evening with these tornado warnings. Make sure to hit the like button as well. We'd really appreciate it. If you're just tuning in right now. We're covering the storm very closely for you. We have several storms as well, but this is the main tornado warning. Again, this is just northeast of Arkansas City. Just south of Winfield. So that area right now, currently under a tornado warning. Rotation has actually tightened a little bit from the last scan to this scan. Kind of see it here on the radar. It's a bit tighter right here near Arkansas City. Seems to be where the rotation is possibly there. That might be the tightening that we're looking at potentially for a tornado right now. Yeah, it's moving off toward Arkansas City right now. Now we'll get an next radar update, by the way, in about a minute. Again, there's a tornado warning now near Arkansas City. Sirens going off. Thank you, Sean, for the report. Aren't you on? I'm pretty sure you're in the Arkansas City region, aren't you? All right, here's the latest scan. So we actually have a couple of little areas of rotation. We have kind of one back in here, much more broad. We also have a new area, it looks like, here that is near Arkansas City. So that's actually a new one. Let me take a look at the reflectivity here. Yeah, it's kind of on the eastern side. It actually almost looks like it's kind of in between here. So that's near Arkansas City, a little bit of a rotation there as well. All right, this is the main. We'll keep an eye on this storm more than anything because there is a tornado warning. That's for Arkansas City. Moving off to the east right now. And if you're just tuning in, this is for southern Kansas as of right now. New tornado warning for Arkansas City. And we're also only 11 subscribers, by the way, away from 3,500. So if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. But again, we'll be keeping you updated with this storm. Again, there's some rotation with this storm. It's been fairly broad at this point. We've had a couple of areas now of rotation. We got one back here west of Arkansas City. We also got one right here on the eastern, there's basically a west and an east of this storm at this point. We have a couple of areas of rotation. Both of them are remaining so far to be fairly broad, but they definitely could develop. We've seen some developments with these storms tonight. Obviously, we've already seen a tornado in southwestern Oklahoma, and we actually might have seen 2, so. And regardless, there is definitely some strong winds with this. Also, hail the size of baseballs will be possible with this storm. That is what the warning is as of right now. Tornado warned storm, not just for tornado threat, but also the potential for some baseball-sized hail does exist. By the way, thank you, Marcy, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome on in. Thank you. You're in northeastern Oklahoma, not looking forward to the storms tonight. I don't know if you will see much there in northeastern Oklahoma tonight. I think most of the storms will stay to your west, but I can't rule it out. All right, I think we got another radar update, and we sure did. So let's go and take a look. So again, this is where your rotation is as of right now. Inflow going into the storm. Again, here's your kind of hook right now. If there was a tornado, it would likely be located there or here. We have a couple of different areas of rotation right now. One more closer to the inflow, and we also got one kind of rain wrapped at this point. So there's a couple of areas that we're watching for that tornado threat near Arkansas City. So that's what we're looking at as of right now. And the latest radar update still, this is actually a new, so again, we have a rotation right here. We have one area here, and we also have an area here. This one is the rain-wrapped area that we have a rotation. That's a bit more broad. We also got one just to the, basically in the downtown, if not just about a mile north of Arkansas City. And that has a bit more of a strong rotation. It's a bit stronger now. So this is an area that we're watching here. We also got an area back here to the west. We got 2 areas now with this rotation. And this radar, by the way, this reflectivity radar is about a minute behind, I think. So, and yeah, it's about a minute behind. So it's not completely accurate and lined up, but yeah, this is moving off to the east-northeast. If those that are just tuning in, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows, interior room of your house. Don't panic. Just make sure you're getting to your safe place just in case there's a tornado with this storm. Again, there's a very likelihood that there might be a tornado with this storm sometime in the near future. So, and this is moving off to the east right now, going through the very southern portion of Kansas right now. And if you're just tuning in, again, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We will be keeping you updated throughout the evening. It takes 2 seconds. But again, if you are from Arkansas City, take shelter immediately. If you haven't already, I would be kind of surprised if you haven't already, but make sure that you have or seeking shelter, excuse me. Here's a look at this rotation, by the way, near Arkansas City. There are very strong winds with this, by the way. Potentially as high as 60, maybe 70 right there near Arkansas City. But this is your rotation, your first initial one there. That is possibly, it's actually a bit tighter now than what it was just a second ago. That's pretty strong right there near Arkansas City. So this is definitely an area to watch very closely. Again, we have a little bit more broad rotation back out to the west near Arkansas City as well. So do appreciate everybody's reports, by the way, in the chat. I do appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions about any of the weather ongoing, make sure to leave them in the chat. Here's a look at what we're looking at as of right now. I believe that's the only tornado warning as of right now, and it is. So keep you updated with this one right now near Arkansas City. Let's move off to the east-northeast as of right now. And next radar update, by the way, should be coming in about 30 seconds or so. Again, this is a pretty tight rotation here near Arkansas City off to the north. We also have a broad rotation back on the west side now. This was the initial rotation. Now it's this one here, closer to Arkansas City. Yeah, I don't doubt the sirens are going off right now. I don't doubt it at all. Very dangerous storm that could possibly produce a tornado anytime. Latest radar update, by the way, for the reflectivity currently shows a bit more of a possibly rain wrap situation near Arkansas City. So it looks like it's kind of getting a little bit more rain wrapped with this sort of area of the storm right now. Going back to the velocities, they have not updated quite yet. We should get an update here in a second. Could possibly be a very small tornado, by the way, right here in northern Arkansas City. So that's a possibility as of right now. Just moving off to the east right now toward, it'll eventually go toward Dexter. So we're only 2 subscribers away from 3,500. If you have not hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. All right, latest radar update, by the way, on the velocities. Again, very strong winds going toward the radar. Again, this is possibly where a tornado might be located. So definitely a good possibility that there might be a tornado here. very broad rotation out here. This is probably not anything to be worried about at this point. This is the main area where there might be a tornado right now near Arkansas City. It's moving off to the east again. And this seems to be the main area. It's about a mile or so just to the north of Arkansas City, so the main area there. Again, this is in between. This is just south of Winfield, by the way, and to the southeast of Gouda Springs, moving off to the east. So very strong winds with this, without a doubt, as it moves off to the east. Watching the storm again very closely as it moves off to the east. If you have any questions, again, make sure to let me know in chat. The rotation is still fairly strong. Again, that's near Arkansas City, moving off to the east. Very strong winds, at least, if there is not a tornado. And we should get our next radar update here in a minute as well. But that is our look at the tornado warning as of right now. A bunch of other severe thunderstorm warnings again. For those that are just tuning in, we're going to primarily focus on the tornado warning. If anything else does develop, though, if anything other tornado warnings come out, we'll make sure to keep you updated with those as well. Here's a look at the storm, by the way. So if there is, again, a tornado, it would likely be rain-wrapped. The storm has become much more of a rain-wrap situation. The rotation's kind of located in here somewhere. A lot of yellow, a lot of red. So definitely a lot of rain currently falling here. Thank you, Brian, Peg, Extreme, Sean, Jay, Daniel, all for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. You subscribing. I believe we just hit 3,500 subscribers. I do really appreciate your support. Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, we do live streams like this all the time, as well as videos and whatnot. I'll have a detailed video out for you tonight on terms of severe weather for tomorrow and as well as Thursday as well. We have a couple more events coming up pretty soon. And we should get an X-ray update here in just a moment. Be updated here with the latest here on the storm. Moves off to the east. Look at that hook again. So you can kind of see here. This is where, again, where your tornado might be located. It's going to be probably rain wrapped. So that's where we're looking as of right now. Hey, John, how you doing? Welcome. All right, here's the latest on the reflectivity, or the velocities, excuse me. So again, wind's going toward the radar. Wind's going away from the radar. It looks to be much stronger, again, going toward the radar. But it could be a tornado any time. Again, if there is a tornado, it's likely going to be small and most likely very weak. So, and probably brief as well. So that's kind of give you an idea of what's happening with that storm as of right now. Kind of watching the storm very closely for you. All right, I hate to do this, but I have to go do something real quick. I'll be right back. Hang on. Again, we'll be watching the storm very closely for you. Again, a tornado warning ongoing there near Arkansas City. Be right back. I do apologize about that, guys. We are back. Sorry about that. All right, we're back on the tornado warning, and after this tornado warning, I'll probably get off, but we're watching the storm very closely again until this warning does expire. I have to do some stuff. As I kind of mentioned before, this was going to be a short live stream anyways, but we'll be watching this tornado warning until it expires, so just keep that in mind. I do apologize again for leaving there for a second. But as of right now, still some rotation here going northeast of Arkansas City, moving off to the east as of right now. And again, this is still tornado warned, so make sure you're seeking shelter. Again, if you're anywhere in this warning, it does include the Maple City area as well as Strotherfield Airport. So those areas are currently included. Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate it. Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Welcome from Prosper. Appreciate it. Robert, there was a confirmed tornado near somewhere in East Panhandle, Texas. Can't remember the name right now, but it was west of Hollis, Oklahoma. There was one tornado there. There was also a possible tornado just northeast of Hollis, which is a different storm. So there's been a couple of tornadoes, it seems like. So that's what we've seen so far. By the way, thank you, Old Dog, as well as David and John for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. Again, just to kind of reiterate, again, I usually do longer live streams, but I do have something to do after this, so I do appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be live until this tornado warning does expire, and we'll go from there. But I usually do longer live streams. I do apologize for kind of having to cut it short, but hopefully this is the last tornado warning. A lot of the other stuff's just severe weather at this point, but we're watching this closely. Again, Arkansas City, just to the northeast of there, still some strong rotation right now. Very strong winds with that storm moving off to the east and northeast, so keep that in mind as it moves off to the east-northeast right now. Yeah, we actually have a couple of areas here of rotation. Let me go back to the reflectivity. And again, this is kind of where your hook is as of right now. That's kind of where your inflow mean is. So again, if there's a tornado, it would be located just to the northeast of Arkansas City. And again, yeah, that's kind of where your rotation is actually as of right now. It's basically right in this area. It's not the I mean, again, it's not the tightest rotation, but it's definitely there. So again, going toward just off to the northeast of Arkansas City, eventually go toward Maple City. And again, this is in southern Kansas. So I think it's a bit more of a rural area, luckily, but definitely some rotation as of right now. Christian, mainly, I put a post out there earlier today. You can go check it out under the community tab under my YouTube channel. The reason's there. No problem, Virginia. Yeah, I know. Again, I do apologize. I will have to cut it short here in a few minutes, but I usually have like 6 to 7 hour live streams. This one's gonna have to only be like 3 hours, I think, though. Again, this is your tornado warning as of right now. Watch the next couple of scans, see if anything does occur with this. As of right now, no confirmation of any tornado with this storm quite yet, but there is obviously a tornado warning ongoing just to the northeast of Arkansas City. This look at the radar. Again, it's probably going to be rain wrapped unless you're looking for the very southern end of this storm. So again, that's where your tornado would be located, right about there. Next radar update is going to be coming in about a minute. So a little bit more detailed then on what's going on there. And again, this is where your rotation is as of right now, basically where I just showed you. Still a considerable amount of time. Yeah, technically it is, but I usually like to go a bit longer than that. All right, here's the latest radar update. Again, this is kind of where we're looking for that rotation. A little bit more pronounced than just a second ago, but it's definitely not strong, but it's definitely moderately strong, I should say. So it's kind of what we're looking at this point. Again, there's another little area of rotation back here, but it's not nearly as pronounced, and that's much broader, so not nearly as much of a concern. The main area as of right now is here, just to the east of Arkansas City. See it here, that's where your inflow is anyways. Going into the storm, and then again, there's some rotation back here, but that's obviously a lot more broad. Kind of keep that in mind. Again, if you haven't already liked the live stream, make sure to hit that like button. We're only 11 likes away from 250. I would really appreciate if you do hit the like button. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. We really appreciate everybody tuning in again tonight. We'll keep you updated for the next few minutes on this storm, and after that, I'll probably have to get off. So, but we'll be keeping updated with this tornado warning as it continues to go on. We've already been live for about 3 hours, so. Samurai, nothing's happening on Longview tonight. Longview will stay dry. In fact, all of North Texas should actually stay dry tonight. Most of the weather is going to be staying off to your north and west. Again, here's where your rotation is as of right now, so mainly just to the east-northeast of our Kansas City, so just keep that in mind. Still riding it out in our Kansas City, yeah. The storm has been going through that area, I know. They've already seen, this is now the second tornado warning there, so there's obviously been a couple. Also, I think we had a new hail report of half-dollar sized hail, by the way. There was a new hail report there about 17 minutes ago. It's the north of our Kansas City, so there was a new hail report there. Nothing yet, just a lot of turning of the clouds. Yeah, there's definitely some upper level rotation, but low-level jet's been pretty weak today at this point. So we haven't seen much at the lower levels. This is the latest radar update, by the way. So still some strong winds here. Here are Kansas City, and we also got some rotation here as well. A couple of areas there. Currently rotating, so just keep that in mind. Moves off to the east. I do appreciate, by the way, 250 likes. I do appreciate everybody liking the live stream. Even means more if you hit the subscribe button as well if you haven't already. And again, we'll do live streams like this. We do live streams like this literally all the time, so won't miss anything. But this live stream will probably end in about 5 minutes or so, unless something dramatically changes in terms of actually a tornado being very strong here. But as of right now, it seems to be still some moderately strong rotation right now. Moves off to the east. That's kind of what we're looking at as of right now. Wind speeds are definitely there, by the way, so just kind of keep that in mind. We got some very strong winds coming with the storm, even if there's not a tornado, but obviously been some rotation there for a while. Alrighty. I appreciate that, PJ. Thank you. Yeah, Wichita's not seeing much right now. Wichita should stay, for the most part, dry tonight. For the most part. Maybe a storm, but it'd probably be weak. Alright, we'll probably get our next radar update here in a second. Lawton will get nailed in an hour. Yeah, you'll definitely see some stuff. Definitely see some storms there. Alright, next radar update. I think actually just came in. So you kind of see again, this is the latest. Just came in, I think, a minute ago. So, again, there's a rotation. Still fairly broad. I got another area up here, still broad. So, a couple areas we're watching as of right now. Again, the tornado threat will still be ongoing with this storm for the next about 30 minutes or so. That's kind of when the warning expires anyways. But yeah, that's about it for this live stream. I hate to cut it when there's a tornado warning, but I literally have to. I have to go do some other stuff personally, so I do apologize. It's not what I want to do, but I have to. But again, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Hit the like button on this live stream. I know I hate to do it. I did it one time back in April, but I have to do it. It's literally mandatory. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in again. Again, make sure to hit the like button, click that link that Stream Element just posted in the chat to follow my other social medias as well. We're literally on TikTok and Twitter. We have short forecasts on our TikTok, as well as on our Twitter page, Instagram, Facebook, all of those platforms. I would really appreciate if you follow those. Again, I really hate to do this, but I have to. I hope you guys all understand for that. I do appreciate you tuning in. Again, have a great night, everybody. Stay safe and whatnot, and have a great rest of your night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.